to another exciting episode of Break the Apocalypse Podcast, Bus Flip Edition. This is your weekly look at the hellscape that we find ourselves living in forevermore. My name is John Draper. On the journey to hell, as always, is Shaheen. Shaheen, how are you this week in the apocalypse?
I'm actually wonderful, man. I'm grateful to be here, and we'll get into everything in a little bit. But yeah, it's an exciting week
It
in
is an
many
exciting week
ways.
in the apocalypse, an exciting week in hell, and of course, the pride of the Midwest, Mr. B. Show Brian. B. Show Brian, how are you?
I'm just fine, John.
I
How
really
are
like that
you?
flannel. I dig it.
We
I
matched,
dig
dude.
it. We kind of match a little bit. We kind of match. I have the cardigan of the week on for the YouTube audience. This is our second week on YouTube. If you're joining us for the first time on the free portion, welcome to the show. Just a little program note early in the podcast. You do not get the full show. Oh, no, no, no. You get a snippet. You get about half the show. The only way to get the full show is by going to patreon.com/break the app. And for that, we are going to ask for $5. Now, what do you get for that $5? You might be asking me. Great question. Here's a real sensible answer. You get over a year, something like 57 episodes, 58 episodes unedited. Some of them go pretty damn long. And plus, you get monthly bonus shows consisting exclusively of question and answer shows. And those question and answer shows are made up of Patreon members. Who are the people asking these questions every month? That's another great question. Boy, you have a lot of questions. I'll give you the answer. The answer is people like Victor Guzman and JR and Charlie and John Dunn and Digital Lizard and Mike Brown and Jay and Brandon McIntyre and Carrie Goldberg and Sal Phoenix and Cockboy and Gary Thorpe and Vic Condor. How about John Hennef and Justin Ludwig and Anthony Alston, Leonard Van Dude? And then we have Cushion Pusher and Larry Trailer and Michael and Randy Shepard and Joe Punches and Dirk. And then we have Jamie Benny Cook. That's right, Benny Cook is there. The legendary podcast legend himself, Don Tony, is with us. Jarrett Maloney, Walter Villani, Darren Gadd, Cassette Classics 86, Tyler Simpson, Austin Red, DeLu into Houston, Joseph Glasgow, Steve Shaw, Stephen Teasdale, Marquise Johns, Ruben, my buddy Anthony Jeter, Joe, Stello Eccles, Ronald Anderson, Adam Bergoni, Emmanuel, Amy Foley, Jeff Lipman is with us as well, JB Buff Bell, Jarek Braxton, Kevin Mathurin, Michael Smith, Rivers Johansson is here, Jude, Matt, John Bernstein, Cloudy, Joseph Marr, Ralph Ramirez, Willie Thompson, Chris Matthews, Cherry Jesus, Roxy Mike, JReb92, Texas Sal, Mark Gordon, The Purple Haze, Danny Douglas is with us, Paul Stockwell, John Garcia, Richard Todd, James Gruesome, Daniel Clark, Deliverance, Christopher Kane, and the always adorable Drew Yari. Let's get to some plugs. We do that early on in the free portion for all of our pals. Deathmatch Outlaws. How about the Drew Yari Show? They're on Patreon right now. Cassette Classics 86 on YouTube. The Down Under Thundercast. The wrestling icon himself, Mr. Don Tony. Necromaniacs podcast just released a new episode actually today for VHS 94. Check that out. The Inhuman Experience podcast. Ringsiders Wrestling on YouTube. My friends from across the pond. Well, I'll be joining for a SummerSlam for a Survivor Series recap this month. Mo Dirk, City Machine Guns. The Garden of Doom. Off the Mat. Old Guy Metalcast. FunkBetty.com. Check out that fall clothing line. It's available right now at funkbetty.com. MJW Games, Cherry Jesus on YouTube, Red River Podcast. My buddy Sam just dropped a bomb of an episode about horror franchises. You're going to want to check that out. And his band Playing Dead has some big shows with the legendary Taking Back Sunday at Mulcahy's. I think one of them's already sold out. Bayou Geeks, our good friend Fatty316. The High Marks Podcast, the Midnight Mass Creature Cast, the Weekly Detour with my buddy Anthony Alston. He just sent me the link today. I'm going to check it out this weekend. Planet Mondo on YouTube and Facebook's groups. And of course, Halloween 365 on YouTube. And my band Synthetic 16, our album Too Far Along, is available on Spotify, Apple Music, and the Band of the Camp. Now, keeping with the plugs here, Synthetic 16, I'm going to get some t-shirts out to some of y'all. I promise you guys some t-shirts. I just got to get them, and I'm going to ask you for your information. And as long as you're cool with me having your address, I could be sending you some stuff in the mail, Ted Kaczynski style. But I'm going to send out some shirts, and with the remaining shirts, if you're interested in buying them, we'll put a link up there, and you guys can check them out. We have some lovely shirts, including a limited Warriors, the movie The Warriors print. It's a lovely shirt. You'll love it. It's pretty great. So as we record this right now, it's what is it, November 4th. Literally within the past hour before we got on the air, when you say just enormous news that's kind of reshuffle the deck here. We're going to reshuffle the deck. We have a lot of topics we want to get to. It's a very, very big week. We have a lot of updates on Shaheen's penis that a lot of people have been asking about. The elections that happened this week were very eye-opening for a lot of people. But there was a bus, and there was a lot of people on the bus, and apparently a bus has flipped. There's been a major bus flip that happened. It seems to happen on Thursdays in the WWE world. Believe it or not, WWE, after announcing, I think they made $225 million for the quarter, are now feigning budget cuts, and they got a hankering for some firing. Are they done with the firing? Can we confirm this? Do you guys know?
I got an update about 10 minutes ago, and it didn't look like any more had been added. Have you heard anything, Shaheen?
You know damn well I have never heard about a bus flip, man. I don't follow. But no, I think it's over. I mean, it's almost 9 o'clock. Typically they started out during the afternoon and it kind of goes on throughout the whole day. But I think it's a wrap. They named enough people already. I mean, what, like 20 got released?
Yeah, I didn't do a count, but it's funny. It started out people that nobody knew or weren't that familiar with, and then there was a peppering in of names, and then they started getting to the bigger names, and it was like blip, 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 blip. And I was like, holy shit, this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one. Now, another thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they traditionally do 2-day bus flips?
Do they? I thought it was just Thursdays.
I don't know.
I think the last one was a one day affair.
I can't even remember the last bus flip, but it's a pretty significant story. It's like one of the leading stories on Twitter. It's one of the leading stories on social media as we record this in the evening. But I guess we can confirm that they're getting all the bodies have been collected off the highway, and traffic is resuming. Is that right, Bisho?
I'm surprised they didn't just, as they're flying back from Saudi Arabia, just open up the hatch and kick them all out while they're sleeping.
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. Yeah, like, but our Break the Apocalypse Doppler helicopter is letting us know the traffic is flowing equally in both directions, and the bus has been cleared. All the bodies have been taken out. Bisho, would you happen to have the updated list, possibly?
I do. I sent it through the chat if you guys want to take a look. Want me just to start reading and we'll talk about them as we go?
Yeah, we're going to go through some of these names. I know a lot of people aren't into the wrestling stuff, but this is very big news. I mean, this is the preeminent wrestling company in the world for all of our lives that makes literally money second to second, now feigning profit losses. Now they're feigning losses after their third quarter call, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And after I think Bisha, I might be right. I think they profited $225 million for the quarter, but that just wasn't enough to save some of these poor victims. Apparently, $225 million for the quarter just ain't enough. It's not enough. So now Bisha O'Brien, who was just got back from the Doppler, the Break the App Doppler helicopter, traffic copter here. Bisha O'Brien, you're gonna put these names out there, and we'll all give our opinions on them. And if we never heard of the people, we'll just maybe we should have the screeching tires noise. But let's start, Bisha. Who we got first up there?
One I'm really surprised in, Nia Jax.
Okay, I think we can all agree that this is a long time coming. She's terrible. She's not a likable person. And if she wasn't The Rock's cousin, she would have been fired a long time ago. Shaheen, your thoughts on Nia Jax? It's kind of a big name in the business.
I'm totally fine with it. I think it's been a long time coming. She's injured like 5 or 6 people so far. And she's not particularly good. Like, she doesn't offer much at all other than size and the relationship with The Rock. But yeah, this one doesn't surprise me, honestly. And I don't see AEW picking her up, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, this is somebody you're going to see in NWA or some shit like that.
Yeah, or maybe that new women's promotion that they're running out in California. Bisha, your thoughts on Nia Jax having to go on the unemployment line?
Smell you later. I never feel good about people losing a gig, but like honestly, you mentioned AEW. If they hired her, between her, Chris Statlander, and
Red Velvet,
no,
Red Velvet's pretty sloppy too.
But
shop.
Who's the beast, Native Beast?
Nyla Rose.
Between those 4, they could like clear out the entire roster by Survivor Series.
They could put more people in wheelchairs than the Afghan-Iraq wars combined. They could put more. They could kill more people. Who's next on the list?
Next on the list, sad, but what are they doing with him anyway? Keith Lee.
Look, I'm gonna say something unpopular here. I'm just gonna be honest. I liked Keith Lee a lot until I heard him talk. I did. I liked him so much when I never heard him speak, and then when I heard him talk, he sounded like an earth science teacher in the '80s that I had. I don't think he has the charisma. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm a fan of his work, and he seems like a lovely person. That doesn't mean that you get to be the prom king. He was not a great talker, and I think when he got really sick, it's kind of like in the animal kingdom when an animal's just a little bit hurt, the whole pack just kind of goes and leaves. I think Keith Lee was doomed when he was gone for that long. I think he was just doomed. Shaheen, I know you know Keith Lee a little bit more from the Indies. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I got to see him in GCW. I was a huge fan. I mean, immediately as soon as I saw him, I was like, dude, this guy's gonna be a fucking superstar just by sheer size and his
Yeah.
ability in the ring. I was like, holy shit, this guy's gonna be main eventing WrestleMania, all sorts of shit, right? And you're right. As soon as he started talking, I kind of took a step back. I'm like, whoa, don't ever do that again. Whoever co-signed that,
The curtains don't match the drapes.
no,
Yeah.
whoever wrote that script out for this guy needs to be fired. But he's a guy I guarantee you AEW is going to pick him up, and they probably won't let him talk much. Like he's going to be a guy that's immediately going to be signed.
B. Show Brown, your thoughts on Keith Bearcat Lee?
I get it. I mean, Vince never saw it, obviously, and they didn't know what to do with him. And they already had a big, imposing black dude with a manager that talks for him, so it's not like they're just going to give him MVP and do Bobby Lashley and Keith Lee. I think he had more upside than Lashley, other than the look.
Yeah,
but it never seemed like it was going to be on for him anyway. So
yeah, and again, if we're going off of ability to do his job, guy's fucking awesome. I could watch him, no problem. He was having those matches with Dijakovic, who ironically is no longer still going by T-Bar and has a job. That people would just creaming themselves over. I like the guy, but he just doesn't have the verbal skills, and not that other people do necessarily, but when you're that size, there's a reason why Brock doesn't talk, right? I mean, Bobby Lashley isn't the best talker either, but he looks like he's carved out of stone. But Keith Lee will land on his feet. I don't think this is a huge setback for Keith Lee. Who's next?
Mia Yim.
Honestly, I think a lot of people pretend to like Mia Yim a lot more than they do. She kind of has a very shitty internet presence a lot of the time. I like her fine. She's okay. But this thing where everyone was jumping up and down like she was amazing, I always thought that was a little not real. And I don't know if she was gone for a long time. I don't really know how that, like, she didn't do anything. So how is this a huge, like, people pretend this is a huge blow. It's like, well, what was she doing that you enjoyed? Tweeting? Like, what was she doing? And she seems a little annoying, gotta be honest with you. I mean, I love her dog. Sometimes she posts nice things about her dog, but she's another one of these people that doesn't know how to use social media. Shah, you're familiar with Mia Yim, I assume?
Yeah, I'm familiar with her from CZW days, actually. I was never a fan, but then again, I'm not really like the biggest women's wrestling fan to begin with. But wherever Keith Lee goes is where she goes because they're an item. So
yeah,
I'm assuming she's going to end up in AEW, although she was dating Eddie Kingston previous to that. So I don't really know how that's going to work out.
Now, wasn't that, I don't want to say this lightly, but wasn't that kind of a problem?
I'm not sure. I don't want to put it out there. I really don't know. But I know they were dating when they were when she was in NXT because that was kind of his way in because he got a shot with NXT and he didn't get signed. But I don't know.
I remember her telling a story. I remember her telling a story and getting a lot of attention of being in a relationship with a wrestler where she was abused. I don't know. Honest to God, I don't know who that was. B-Show, do you know anything about this?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Oh,
she gave a whole. She worked with Safe Horizon. She did a whole thing about women being abused. I don't know who that was.
That wasn't.
No, I didn't say it was. I didn't mean to. I don't know her relationship with. She can have a bad relationship with this guy and not be involved in abuse. It's just.
I'll answer that next week because I know who it is, but
I don't think it's necessarily public. And
right. So I don't know if I should.
But I never meant to presume it was Eddie. But I'm just saying. Normally, when people have if they broke up and they're not cordial,
right.
I don't see how they work together. Like I wouldn't work with my ex-wife, in a job. It's just not something I would want to do. So that's the only thing I meant by that. I knew it wasn't Eddie. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's in reference to somebody from CZW.
Somebody from CZW. Yeah, nobody in the company now. No. Look, Mia's not untalented. She's she's just a little annoying. I mean, I don't know. I found her to be a little annoying, and there was nothing for her. So. Unfortunately, but she does have a lovely dog.
Which, by the way, before we move forward, the CZW person that I'm talking about, he's been abusive to like several women on the
I know what you're talking
CZW
about.
roster.
I know what
So
you're talking
it's amazing that he's on television, you
about. Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
it's like no one cares.
No
Everyone
one
just
cares.
sells
That's
it, just pretends
that's
it never
wrestling.
happened.
Even after she comes forward and does a whole
Unbelievable.
PSA about it for
Yeah.
an abuse company, nah, it's fine.
Unbelievable.
But no, I don't dislike Mia. I really don't. I just don't. I found a lot of the stuff she was doing on the internet to be very annoying, which is 90% of wrestling. So she's not unique, and she wasn't doing anything. But I'm sure she's going to land on her feet because she is talented, and
She's got a
maybe.
lot of friends too. There's,
Yeah. Oh, she's friends with everybody.
she's been around.
Everybody.
Yeah.
She's been around. I remember her in the Dollhouse gimmick and in TNA. What? Who's next on the list?
Next on the list is one that I think is both surprising and unsurprising: Karrion Cross or Killer Cross.
Oh, so we might as well throw Scarlett in there too.
Yes.
So Scarlett was released first. She wasn't on TV, so it didn't seem that shocking. And Cross, Cross is friendly with my brother for a long time, and Don Tony, for a long time. So naturally, I was hoping that wasn't going to happen to him, and he was taking a lot of pictures where he looked like he was getting rebranded. Um, they were doing nothing with him too. I mean, I don't like. By the way, he's 100% getting signed. I mean, like, there's no. I would be shocked if he's not on AEW in 30 days. I'd be shocked, or at least in New Japan or something. The two of them should go to New Japan maybe and get their money up. I'd like that for them. She's hot as balls. Me and my brother-in-law are constantly being like, how did they not do anything with this woman? Like, she's disturbingly attractive. I mean, disturbingly hot. But they never. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have a rabbi in the front office like a lot of other people. They couldn't find anything for him. They just couldn't. They couldn't find shit for him. Shop. Did you ever deal with them on the Indies?
Yeah, many times actually. I was pretty close with Karrion Cross. I
Good dude.
talked to him on the
Kevin's a good dude,
regular.
man.
He
Yeah.
actually he went out of his way a lot of times to help me out. So
Yeah.
I
He's a
remember
good dude.
at the conventions, every time he would see me, he would come up to my table because he knew me from the GCW shows. They would book him at shows, and so I got to be friendly with him. And every time he would see me at conventions, he would come over. He's like, "Dude, let me take a picture of your table. I'm going to tweet it out.
Oh
I'll
yeah, he's
tag you
around.
in it." He
Yeah.
did that many times.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. And every time I saw him, I would just sit there and bullshit with him for like 30 minutes, and he was just a regular guy, just super big. But
Yeah.
he's gonna be fine, man. That's another guy I'm not worried about.
not
Like
worried about him at all.
he's gonna make a shit ton of money in AEW. He'll go there. I don't see him going to Japan. I think they know the potential in Karrion Cross. Like that guy, he's got a lot of potential. You know what I mean? Like he's got the size, he's got the agility, he's aggressive. He sells me on wrestling. So hopefully he gets picked up by them and not like NWA or TNA or I don't know. I would hate to see him go to Impact. I'd rather see him.
He left Impact under bad circumstances.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's definitely not going back there. It wasn't even a lot of money, dude. It was like a couple grand from what I.
Yeah, they just didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, they just didn't want to pay him.
They weren't paying Scarlett. In
fact, TNA owes me $75.
I don't.
Wow. Is that TNA owes me $75?
Oh, call them up. B-Show, what's your opinion on Cross and Scarlett?
I think he's better. Obviously, he could arguably make more money in WWE in the long term if he was able to catch on. But like they weren't doing anything with him anyway. They didn't get him. They stripped away, just like they do with everybody else, man. They strip away everything that's interesting about him and try to just foist him off as some fucking half-assed demolition gladiator dude. AEW is getting kind of crowded, and I know there's a spot for him, but like, let's say Ring of Honor doesn't go out of business and Sinclair puts some money into it. If they pick up like Keith Lee and Karrion Cross and a couple other people.
Oh, yeah, Jesus, game changer right there.
Yeah, like I think a week ago we were talking about how Ring of Honor was dead, but now there's like all these free agents on the market, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the no compete clause is. It's at least 30 days. I know.
Yeah, Scarlett said 30 or something, and that's another thing too. Is I was so worried that they were going to Rusev or Mark Marrow this dude because they thought that she was way too hot to be with him. So who knows? This is complete like bullshit out of my ass, but like who knows that like they didn't try to break them up and have her paired with someone else, and she said no.
Yeah, and they just got engaged in the real life too. But Kevin's a great dude, man. He's super real good guy. I think he's going to be fine, but it sucks. That kind of sucks because those two should have been making money for them like in a big way, and no one gave them that opportunity. Who's next on the flippity flip?
Next on the list, Eva Marie.
That's interesting because they brought her back. They gave her a program with the Dewdrop Girl, and then they get rid of her and keep the heavy girl. That's so on WWE of WWE. Wow. You know, not it was nothing for nothing. I mean, nobody cares. She looks great, wonderful. That's nice. Who gives a shit? There's lots of people that look great. I could
Yeah.
see her. I don't think she really gives a fuck about wrestling anyway.
No, she's done, dude.
She's done with wrestling. That's somebody I'm going to say wrestling is that phase of her life is over. She'll have an OnlyFans by New Year's, and she'll talk about how she's making more money doing OnlyFans. A no nude OnlyFans. I predicted no nudity OnlyFans. Shaheen, what do you think? No nudity OnlyFans?
I was gonna say the opposite. I think she's gonna end up doing pornos in a couple
That,
years.
maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I see it. I mean, I
Maybe.
honestly could not care less about her, though. To be honest with you.
Maybe. I mean, I might spend a tissue or two on that. Bisha, what about you? What do you think is going to happen with Eva Marie?
I agree. Nudeless OnlyFans.
Nudeless OnlyFans. She seems like a nudeless, like that seems like that's her shtick, like
Yeah.
nudeless OnlyFans. And she's get back, I'm making so much more money and doing what I want and really expressing myself. So bye. Next.
Next up is Ember Moon.
Okay, I'm just going to come clean here with Ember Moon. All right. I saw Ember Moon at least once in person in a very small show on an NXT tour. She's 4 apples high, no personality, like nothing. No personality. Not a bad wrestler, but is charismaless. And they gave this girl chance after chance and gave her a Blackula gimmick or whatever. She was a werewolf. I don't know what the fuck she was. She's not bad. It's just she's charismaless. She's a terrible talker. Oh my god. Sha, what do you think of Ember Moon?
I absolutely love her in the ring. I think she's amazing in the ring, but
Yeah.
that's where it stops. That's kind of where my praise stops. Again, every move I've seen her, and I haven't watched WWE in like 2 years, but when I did watch it, she was very smooth. I mean, every transition from move to move was very smooth, very crisp. But her gimmick was dog shit. Oh my god!
What was it?
It was
it?
Disney Channel
Blackula,
Werewolf.
literally.
It was Disney
It
Channel
was like
Werewolf.
it was like one of those. What is that vampire show with all the kids show where everybody's a vampire or something? What the fuck was that gimmick?
My kid watches it on Disney. It was called Zombies, but on the second one they had all these like weird teenage werewolf things.
No,
and
it
that's
was
what she
called
looked
something
like.
Vampire High or something. It
Oh.
was something like that. I don't know. I've seen other people, but it's just
Gotcha.
like I don't know. And she's another one of these like 30-year-old cosplayers or something in real life. I don't know. They tried to make her a heel and good wrestler. You know, she's good in the ring, but like Sheen said, it just stops. I mean, you can't. That works in GCW or maybe Ring of Honor with these women, right? That doesn't work on network television when you sound so wooden, where it's like, yeah, let me tell you something, Sasha Banks. Um, I'm 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 gonna when you hit Io Shirai, it's like that was every promo out of the girl's mouth. So
Could you do Sasha and her talking back and forth, or is that too hard to transition?
I haven't done Sasha in a long time. But Sasha's gonna have a job for life. She's never going anywhere. But Ember will land on her feet too. I have no problem. I wouldn't be surprised. I just hope she gets an actual gimmick that is fluid that I understand. You know, it's just like this. They gave her like contact lenses, and I don't know.
That was a terrible look, man. I hated
awful. It was childish. It was like something a child would come up with for themselves. You know, it was like when your kid says, "I'm going to make my own Halloween costume." Who's next on the list?
Next on the list is Frankie Monet, and I don't remember her name.
Okay.
Something?
Taya Valkyrie. Okay. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be polite because I don't dislike her, and I actually think she's fucking very good. She came into NXT out of shape. I don't know. She looked out of shape from day one, and I saw her a lot. She was a goddamn. That girl was like a lucha wrestler. Okay. She wrestled a lot of dudes in Mexico. She was great in fucking Lucha Underground. She did very well in Impact. She came in here about 30 pounds heavier, mostly from her like ankles to her ass. And they gave her they gave her a Disney villain gimmick that made no sense. She should have been killing motherfuckers. She should have been throwing people around like a doll. And instead, you know, I don't know what happened to her. I really don't. You know, I really, really don't. She was somebody I thought could do quite well. And you know, I don't know. Shad, would you ever see her on the Indies?
I can't judge because I really don't know her at all, her work. I did some graphics work for High Spots when they had her in, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know anything about her.
What about you, Bisho?
No, honestly, that's around the time I stopped watching WWE regularly is when she kind of hit, and I was surprised because I saw her in Lucha. I saw her a little bit in like. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
You see that picture there? She's shredded, like
Yeah, she
thick
was.
but shredded.
No, she was in. Again, dude, scroll down a little bit.
Look at her shoulders when she was in
Yeah,
Impact.
yeah. She was in peak physical. She is somebody who I always saw who looked like a power. Look at her with her husband in Impact there. I mean, like. Look at that. Look at that. She was in peak physical condition. The other picture, like she's in the pink. You can count the cubes on her. She got an 8 pack, peak physical condition. She comes into NXT. She looked a little puffy. The gimmick was terrible. She didn't seem like she was look at her. Look at her in AAA. I mean, like
Yeah,
this girl was in ill shape. I don't know what happened to her. I don't know. Maybe she just got out of shape. But I noticed that right away. I mean, this is not, and I'm not saying it to be a dick. I'm just saying this is somebody who saw her on multiple TV shows, peak physical, like alpha female physical condition, and then she shows up and she looks a little puffy. She just didn't look like she was in shape. So I'm sorry to say, I wonder if that had something to do with it. I wouldn't be surprised if we found out that they felt like she wasn't in good shape. I mean, and this girl, literally, she looked like she was a gym rat in Lucha and in AAA. And again, in Mexico, she was wrestling dudes, I think, in Mexico.
look
Terrible
how
gimmick.
look how good
Yeah,
she looks there,
she
dude.
looks amazing there. But very talented. She's super talented. Didn't seem like she was putting in the work here. I don't know what they could have done with her. And now she's back. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else notices this. Well, yeah. Apparently, people said about her. Look at this. Holy shit. She had some kind of eating disorder. They said. I don't know.
I think
I have no
I
idea.
remember hearing that a while ago, and it was right before she came to NXT. So maybe it wasn't healthy for her to be that shape. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she looked a little puffy, and they don't like that shit. So
Mm-mm.
I'm
You know
not
who
putting.
said that too? Who's Deanna Purrazzo said that when she got let go from
Yeah,
WWE
she
and she
well,
went over
well.
to
By the way,
Impact.
she also gained a bunch of weight when they let her go. She was not in the shape that she's in now.
And she gave an interview after that saying that it was unhealthy for her to try to stay in that shape because it's not natural for her. So
Oh,
who knows?
okay,
Maybe the same thing happened with
maybe,
Taya. You know,
maybe. I mean, I'd be surprised if she didn't land on her feet because she's super talented and she's a journey woman in the industry. She's not in. She's been around a long time. But I don't know. I mean, she just didn't. The gimmick was also for shit. So I feel bad for her. I think she could have done some more stuff. Who's next?
next up, Grand Metalik.
They did the Lucha House Party thing for years. It was a cute gimmick to open a show. I mean, what do you say? I don't know. What do you think, Shaw?
Yeah, I mean, who gives a shit, dude? There's like 20 of them. It doesn't. Who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah. B Show, you have any feelings on that? The guy's all right. It's not terrible.
No, he had some cool moves and some good moments where he could have been something when they did the cruiserweight division. Their issue was they never understood the cruiserweight division as a value added. It always had to be
Mm,
like it has to stand on its own and be a draw and be a brand. It's like no,
yeah, yeah.
they were a huge part of Monday Nitro and that success in '96. And I know
Oh
time
yeah,
moves on,
yeah. Time moves on.
but at the same time they could have used it differently. And of course, because it
They could have.
failed right away, they had to fucking shit can everybody. But
Yeah.
yeah, smell you later.
He'll end up. He'll work too. He's definitely working.
If he doesn't go to AEW because of the relationship with
He'll go to
AAA, he could
Mexico.
always
He'll go to
fucking
Japan. Go to
what's
Mexico.
Court Bauer's thing, MLW?
MLW. Yeah, he'd be great in MLW. He'd be fucking awesome in MLW.
Yep.
Who we got?
Next on the list, Lindsay Dorado.
Same thing. I mean, like you know, uh, guy's good. He's not terrible, but he's not going to make you any money. It's an opening act at best. I think we could all say the same thing we just said about Metalik
Yeah, you
about
could just
Lindsay
wrap
Dorado.
all of them up in
You really
one.
can.
All the
And
same
we're not
shit.
trying to be dicks. It's just like from a business standpoint, like what's the standout? Not
It's like masked flying wrestlers that don't
yeah,
speak. It's
yeah.
all
They
the
don't
same
really
gimmick.
speak.
Like it's the same shit, dude.
Yeah. B, do you agree? I mean, it's the same shit.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that's what I was getting at too with the cruiserweight division. If you're not going to make it something different, if you're not going to develop each individual, lucha guy with their different character, and
Which
they're
they
all
were
just
never going to do.
no, and they're all just dudes in masks that fly around, and that's not going to
Exactly.
fly in WWE.
Next.
Oni Lorcan.
All right. I know Joe knows him. Joe Numbers knows him, but that dude's internet behavior he's kind of a dick too. Not for nothing. That dude was a dick.
Is that Biff
Uh,
Busick?
yeah, it's
Is that who that
Biff.
is? Okay.
Yeah. I know the guy could work, but that name was awful. They put him in a tag team with the guy who always looks like he's wearing underpants all the time. The Danny Burch guy. Looks like he's wearing his underwear in the ring. Charismaless. Great worker. Charismaless. And you have
Yeah.
and your Twitter, another guy, awful Twitter, just said a lot of dumb shit. He's got a lot of friends, so don't be surprised if he ends up in AEW, right? Michelle, because that guy's friends with a lot of people.
I don't know. I don't see him going to AEW. He's one of those guys that I don't think he should be on TV. Like he's very bland. No. He's a good wrestler, but he's very bland. Same with his partner. They're bland as fuck.
Yeah, but the British guy in his underpants.
Yeah, he's amazing in the ring. Like I saw him at GCW too, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's amazing, but he shouldn't be on TV.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
These are guys you bring into PWG once a month to do crazy shit.
These are guys. If you go to an indie show, you go, "Hey, that was really good. Oh, that's cool.
Cool spots, hard hitting." But it's not. You don't want to see them cut a promo and get into storylines. It's not for them.
No, he seemed kind of like a dick. I'm just being honest. Sorry, Joey. He seemed like a dick. B Show, were you familiar with Biff?
Yeah, and same thing, you guys. I like him. He was almost like one of those, if he's in a match, oh, that's enjoyable, but then you forget about him when he's gone. And I hate to say that about people that have good reputations with people in the business. We know people who know him. But, yeah, it's just, I mean, I've always said this, how many guys in short tights that are kind of small, that are really good wrestlers and bland can you have in one company?
On TV, no less. Like Shaheen was saying, like, these are not guys that Biff, no disrespect. You're friends with our boy, but you're not. That doesn't mean you get to be on TV. Like, you know what I mean? Like Bisho and Shaheen saw me play a small bar. That doesn't mean I get to play the Garden now. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not how life works. It's just, it's not. I don't know why it's insulting to tell someone they might not be a good wrestler for television.
Plus, there's just better options. There's
there's plenty of options.
You guys know Chris Dickinson, right?
Of course, he's from Long Island. Of course, I know.
He's way better than Biff Busick. Like,
he's 3 times his size, but
no, they're about the same size, dude.
Chris is way bigger than Biff, I think.
Maybe mass wise, height, they're
big
the same.
Dude.
It's not,
big dude.
But it's the same shit though. Like Chris Dickinson doesn't really do a gimmick. Like he's a hard hitting wrestler. That's kind of all he is. But I would rather take that on television than Biff Busick.
I'll be honest with you. Not to change gears, but I'm surprised Dickinson is not signed. Just be honest with you.
Oh, I didn't even realize this guy. Yeah.
How is he not signed?
He's working with New Japan. I think he's got to deal with them. He's got New Japan. He's got Ring of Honor.
He looks like a wrestler. He talks like a wrestler. He's he knows how to play a character, and
that was the first time we got in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Was when I did an interview with this guy. They put that in the PWI, and we got a shout out from them. So
yeah, he's in ill shape. Let me tell you, he's in ill shape.
Crazy ass dude too, man.
He's a wild guy. I know people that know him.
I almost died at a CZW show because of this guy. He threw a fucking chair at Black G's, and that shit ended up in the crowd. And I'm sitting next to his mom. I'm like, dude, you almost took your mom out with me. Like,
If you guys aren't familiar with Chris Dickinson, look him up. The guy does a lot of shit, mostly all indie stuff. He looks like $1 million. And he looks like a legit guy. He'll punch you in the fucking mouth if you say some dumb shit. But this isn't about Chris Dickinson. Who's next on the list?
Next up on the list, we get back to where I was. Grab my leak, let it go, already good. B-Fab of Hit Row.
Okay, I hate that gimmick. I think the gimmick is like 90s rap. I don't understand why people like it so much. I think they pretend to like it more than they do. And her doing like the puffy like type lyric thing on it. I never even said to go wrestle. Like people are like people acting like this is like people acting like Bailey just got released. It's like the girl never even wrestled. She just did like uh-ohs in the ring. I mean, like you can get anyone to do that shit. Like how is this really going to affect the gimmick? I hate this. I really don't like this gimmick.
I don't even know what this is.
It's basically like a rap label gimmick that they built around
This looks terrible.
This is for Swerve. This is Swerve.
Shane Strickland?
Yeah. This is for Swerve. And this Top Dollar guy, just some of the worst wrestling internet behavior I've ever seen. Like honestly. I've ever seen.
Speaking of Shane Strickland, that dude like hated me on the indies in CZW because he was like a regular on J-Cat's show. And I would always tell Jake that. I'm like, yo, the guy's like so talented, but I can't fucking
So
stand him.
he's really talented.
And he would ask, he's like, well, why can't you stand him? I'm like, he smiles way too much. He smiles way too much for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
So he started making that a gimmick every time he'd come on there. He's like, yeah, my buddy Shaheen, he hates the way you smile every time you come out. So he finally started noticing me at the shows. He's like, dude, do you want me to really smile less? I'm like, yeah, you should. You really should. Like, you're really good, but you don't.
He's a talented guy that
Way
I
too
think
happy.
should stand on his own. I don't like this gimmick. I've said it forever. I think people. This is one of these things that I honestly call into question. People saying that they like this that much. This girl didn't really do anything except stand there and say "hit row" like as if she was doing a chorus on a rap song from 1995. B-Show, were you familiar with her?
No, because I stopped watching NXT regularly when they came on, but she looks really good. But
Yeah, she
other
looks
than that-
fine. She wasn't doing anything. She was just standing there being like, making faces and pretending to rap. I hate this gimmick for all these guys. I wish they'd give them something else, but whatever.
Is it
Moving on.
Is it like ironic Gen Z stuff?
I don't think it's meant to be ironic. That's the thing. I think it's. I just don't like the gimmick at all. I hated it the second I saw it. I was like, oh, this is awful. This is like written by a kid in like 1995 who just heard Dre Day for the first time.
Dude, I haven't even seen them, and I can tell you they're not trying to be ironic. WWE is just like 20 years behind in what's cool and what's not.
Yeah.
So they think this is like what's happening today. Like
Yeah.
Death Row. Like, dude, Death Row's from like
It's
95.
so corny, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's like, come on. And I see people putting this over like, this is the best thing. I'm like, you're lying.
Literally 95. Literally
You're
95.
lying. This is like Puffy's band, the band from Puffy on the TV show in like 97. Like, stop, dude.
Go get me some Cambodian breast milk from a refugee.
I'm shutting the studio down. All right, who else we got?
Jesse Kamea. I have no idea who this is.
Let's look that. I don't know who that is. And by the way, I don't know who a lot of these people are. And that's not to say they're good or bad people or they deserve anything. Girl, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Some of your pictures look good. That's a great
Long-ass
picture.
torso, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, nothing for nothing. Yeah, oh, I kind of think I've seen her a little bit.
Oh, she was an Aussie, huh?
Yeah, I've seen her a little bit. Nothing for you. This looks like a case of we got nothing for you. That's all. She's cute. Maybe she'll probably work on the indies, but it's not like she was lighting the world on fire. So what do you guys think? I mean, she's never heard of her. It's like, okay, sucky. I'm not wishing it on you, but you're not impacting the TV shows.
Well, it's like if you look at her face, Rochelle Gonzalez or whatever her name was, is like a better version of that. Okay, she's big, she's strong. And then you look over at Indy Hartwell, who's
you talk about Raquel?
Raquel Gonzalez, sorry.
Yeah, she's great though. She's fucking.
That's what I'm saying. Is like this girl almost seems like she's almost like this person, but not the same. Almost like this person, but they got someone better. Like there's just
I don't
not
know
a
who the
spot
fuck
for
she
her.
is. I've seen her and I don't know who the fuck she is. Shah, you ever heard of her? She's like probably just somebody they picked up. I don't know.
I have no clue who that is.
Moving on.
Zero clue.
Who's next?
Next up, Zeta Remir.
Who's that? It's like I don't know who you are.
Well, now we're starting to get to the heart of this thing. Is like there's so many people.
Who's
there.
that? Who are you? Who is this? Is this a guy or a girl?
Girl.
I don't know who this is. I have no idea who this is. Okay, I don't know who this is. She did some prelim type stuff. Okay. She apparently did some prelim matches. And maybe she was on NXT getting pinned. I mean, some of these women are the equivalent of Iron Mike Sharp in 1985. Like, it's not.
Except they're not journeymen. I mean, they're not
Scroll
the same
down a little bit.
caliber.
Who is she? Who's back? Gina. Okay, it looks like she's one of these girls that came in through Booker T's school. Because I see him kind of putting her over. Oh, okay. She's young. Maybe you'll come back. Who knows? I'm sure you're lovely. Next.
After Zeta Remir, Trey Baxter.
No clue who that is.
Here, I got to keep sharing.
Shane, you ever heard of that name? I'm so sorry, bro. I just don't know who some of these people are. Wait, Trey Baxter's a girl?
Yeah, I have no idea who any of these people are, dude. I have
Who
no
are
clue.
these? Who is that? Like, what is that meme with Conor McGregor? Who the fuck is that guy? Who's this guy?
This is a wrestler? Oh.
What?
Oh, shit,
I
man.
saw this guy. Yeah, this guy seemed like he could work.
You know what's crazy? That outfit that you're looking at, I designed that outfit.
Wow.
That very outfit right there is my design.
Yeah, I seen this
Crazy
kid
guy.
once or twice. He had like a big match, but
Christian Blake, he was in GCW.
yes, I know who he is. Boy, he's got old
Damn.
man face.
I'm
He's
sorry
got
to hear
old-
that. This is a
He
good
kind of
dude.
looks like the Beverly Brothers on meth.
He's
Carrot
got
Top.
old. He's got old man face in one of these pictures.
Look at that other picture. He's Carrot Top in there.
Yeah, I mean that would have
Barrel
been a way to go. I would have pushed that gimmick.
Yeah, Carrot Top right there, bro.
You could do a lot with this guy, especially as
Yeah.
good a wrestler as he was. I saw him in like a prelim or a mid card match on an NXT pay per view. He's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he's not. This kid's gonna land on his feet. I'm gonna say that right now. I think this kid's gonna do okay. He's gonna be all right.
I hope be in GCW next week and then start doing AEW.
Yeah, but looks like they gave him some stuff. They put him in the breakout tournament. I remember him.
Mhm.
He'll be fine.
Joe Gacy will be next. He'll get fired.
No, they're really into that gimmick. They're committing to that cancel culture gimmick with him. They stepped it up big time. Wasn't he a deathmatch guy, Joe Gacy? He's
Yeah.
WWE is so funny. Like they let him keep the Joe Gacy name, even though he has nothing to do with the previous character, and they're just negating the fact that he named himself after a serial killer who raped men and molested boys.
That dude really hates me. Like,
Does he?
Really?
yes. Like big time grudge, bro. Like that
Wow.
guy really doesn't like me.
Wow. Well, he doesn't know what he's missing.
Yeah. Missing out on a lot, man.
Who's next?
Next up, another one I've never seen, Katrina Cortez.
No clue who that is. Who's this? Who are you?
Kind
Who
of
are
chubby
you?
lucha girl.
I saw her maybe once.
Yeah, bro. I don't know any of these fucking people.
Wow, they let her be chubby like that? That doesn't seem like something they like.
At least it's not a waste that they're letting him go because like nobody knows them.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, like her and the ginger kid, like not for nothing. It's not like, I mean, you had the shot, you could get
She's
it
thick
again.
right there, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
I'll
a
take
little-
that back. Not chubby. She was thick.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
thick.
I mean,
That's
she's got
nice
a-
thick, bro.
Yeah, she looks all right, and she's got a great smile.
Mhm.
It's like exactly what I like. That type of thickness.
She
It's not-
seems like a kid. I don't
amazing.
know. She seems like is she a kid? She
I'm
seems young.
sure not.
She could be young.
Probably like
I don't know.
20, 21,
Yeah,
22.
yeah.
I have
you know,
no
I mean,
idea.
Get another shot. Give the kid another shot. I don't know. She can go somewhere else. Give her a shot. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know enough about her, but I don't
Born
know.
in '96.
Okay.
She's young. She's got a lot
She's
of time
young.
to go.
Yeah, and she's she's got a lot of time to go. You know, the world's not over for her either. That's for sure.
Next up, another one I have no clue who it is.
Oh God,
Jeet Rama.
who's that guy? Was he with the gimmick with what's his face where they had him come back with a crew?
No.
No, he's not.
He's one of the Indian dudes they signed because of India.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
This was when they were hot in India and doing all that shit with
Oh, all right. Well,
Jinder Mahal.
I guess. I mean, I don't even know who this guy is.
Dude,
when
no one's gonna miss any of these people.
When
No
they
one
put
cares.
Jinder over for 6 months to have Triple H beat him in India in front of his home country? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
I
Yeah.
have no idea who this guy is, but whatever. You know. Okay. Bye.
Like the first few people, like I get it. The rest of these, like who
Yeah,
gives a
this is
fuck?
just people that were, were eating catering and playing fucking
Yeah,
Mario Kart in the back on
exactly.
their phone.
Well,
Oh.
looks like he was an Olympic medalist, so I mean, none
Oh,
of those
wow.
guys usually make it.
He doesn't look like a pro wrestler. I mean, like, I don't know. He just looks like a regular dude who's in shape, but whatever. I mean, the guy's
Yeah,
an
he
Olympian.
looks like he should work at like GNC, like a nice guy that works at GNC.
Yeah, he looks like a guy who'd be super helpful at GNC. You might want to know what he's doing, to keep himself in shape. But he also has old man face. I guarantee this guy's not that old, and he has old man face. A lot
He
of
does,
old man
yeah.
face here.
Oh, look at
He
this
looks
one
like he's
with
like
the mustache.
43.
He looks even older there.
Yeah, he's probably like 29. I mean, like, honestly, dude, old man face is not good at this age. I don't know how old Can we look up how old he is? I just want to make sure I'm not. How old is Jeet Rama?
He looks 40, man.
He's
He
40.
looks-
Okay. Well,
He's
yeah.
an H40 too. I mean, like, dude, he's 6'4". Damn, 235, 6'4", in shape. Kind of. I mean, he's definitely in shape. Look at that fucking
Yeah.
picture of him there. Jesus
And as an
Christ.
amateur, he's probably got great like tendon strength and
Oh,
shit too.
oh yeah. I mean, this guy will probably fucking legit. He's got legit wrestling grappling skills. But again, nothing for nothing. Who's left?
Last one on the list. This is not surprising because this is like the 5th time it's happened. Harry
Okay.
Smith.
Who knew? Okay, no one knew Harry Smith was back in the program. Like, I have news. He has not been on TV. When did he even come back?
I had no clue because the last time I saw him, he was on the Indies. He was doing MLW and GCW. I had no idea he was signed again.
I thought he was still in Japan or something.
He must have just got signed like a month
I think
ago.
he just got signed, and they were keeping him off TV, and then they were like, "Nah, we're good."
Yeah, how
Yeah, because
long
he was
ago
definitely
this?
doing Indies, man. He was not
Yeah.
signed.
Didn't even know he was there.
I
No
remember
clue
hearing
who's
about it a while back. 2021. Yeah.
I had no idea he was there. He'll welcome back to New Japan. What do you want me to tell you? I don't know. They were
Well,
never going
it's-
to do anything with this guy anyway.
No, it's because he came in and got busted for steroids every time they brought him in. So how many times
Well,
are you going to bring a guy like that back?
Dude, the hyperbolic doesn't fall far from the hyperbolic tree. What do you want me to tell you?
Hyperbolic, anabolic,
Anabolic, hyperbolic, or hyperbolic. If you really want to be, literal. But yeah, I mean, look, dude was on the gas, came back. God only knows what he looked like when he came back, too. By the way, I thought he was looking a little puffy, but whatevs.
Who's the dude? Lance Archer.
Yeah,
They were killing dudes in Japan 2 years ago.
murdering dudes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were murdering people. They were in top programs with all the top teams.
What are they called? Killer Elite Squad?
Yeah.
They were huge. I know they were fucking huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So maybe Archer will put in a good word, bring him over there.
That'd be good if they bring that as a tag team to AEW. That'd be good.
Yeah, that could work. But Archer may not want to do tag teams. I don't know.
Well,
see.
Is he still like their second tier champion, or did he lose that already?
I have no. He lost it already. He lost it a while ago.
So take your pick.
So that's it for the bus flip. That's a lot of people. It's a mishmash. But I'm just gonna look. I'm gonna say something. I'm not. Look, as we record this, and these guys will tell you in 2 seconds. I got laid off. I lost my job to COVID. So I know what that's like. It feels terrible, right? And for me, it's a very long time. I would never wish that on anybody. That being said, okay, I was running a successful office with a staff and I have licenses and things like that. I was working. I was doing my job above and beyond, and I got laid off. A lot of these people, to be perfectly honest with you, were not really doing anything and getting paid a lot of money. And that's great. It's a great hustle. But I don't have the same feelings for people that lost their job to COVID or downsizing or corporate layoffs or union, not getting a union or whatever, that I do for people that play fight in their underwear, that get paid to work out, and eat free catering and get free travel or whatever, and, get travel all over the world and just take pictures of themselves and make TikTok videos with their friends in the back while all the other people are out working. I have mixed feelings about this, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because on the one hand, I think it's insane that a company that posted $225 million in profit, getting rid of all these people and calling it budget cuts. On the other hand, 80% of the people we just mentioned mean nothing to their Monday night show, their Tuesday night show, their Friday night show, and their weekend house shows. So why continue to pay these people if they're not doing anything, right? Now, the argument is being made is like, but this person is bad and this person sucks too. And why is this person still there? And I can't believe it. Why is this other person there? But this guy can't believe it. And I don't understand why they didn't do this with this person. Yes, well, you could say that, but that's personal taste. I don't know what the format is. I don't know why The Miz has a job. I don't. I don't know why Dolph Ziggler gets paid to have a job. I don't. They made $255 million. They increased 15%, primarily driven by higher ticket sales because of COVID no longer being relaxed, and to a lesser extent, venue merchandise sales, resulting in the companies returning to ticketed live events. Okay, that is a massive increase for a Fortune 500 company to post. That is not the kind of, for you business people out there. Normally, you lay a bunch of people off, and then your stock goes up the next day. Your profits reflect that in the next quarter. And you say, yeah, that's why we did it. This is, we made all this money. Let's get rid of some of these motherfuckers and then move the fuck on with our lives. Shah, what's your opinion on this in a general sense, now that we went through the list and the fact that you just found out they made $225 million in revenue profit?
I hate to hear anybody lost their job, but if I'm being perfectly honest, after this show, this is not something that's going to cross my mind ever again. I don't care enough about wrestlers losing their job to even, I don't know, bro. There's way too many other people that I feel bad for entirely.
Sure.
To sit here and care about, whoever was a Grand Metalik lose. I don't give a fuck, man.
I mean, I'm sure Grand Metalik's a lovely guy.
Yeah, again, I hate to
He
that
just made
blunt
a lot
about
of
it,
money
but
for a lot of time to be on a TV show to
Right.
go like this.
Well, most of them are in better positions than most of us will ever be. So it's
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
hard to feel bad for people that are already in better spots than you. It's like, what? Like, who the fuck am I to feel bad for you, dude?
Yeah. I mean, you could be empathetic and sympathetic, but I think there's a lot of unrealistic people out there being like, this is like the worst thing I've seen in my life. It's the darkest day in wrestling history again. B-Show,
Right.
what's your thoughts on it?
On one hand, I get what you're saying. It's kind of hypocritical to post $225 million in profit for the quarter. That's not the year, guys. That's a quarter.
Yeah, that's one of 4 financial fiscal quarters.
And then to turn around and say it's budget cuts.
Right.
I honestly have no problem with them letting most of these people go because none of these people, and look, I know Roman's selling a lot of merchandise right now, but ticket sales are what they are, and they have been what they have been. Ratings aren't stellar. I mean, they're okay. Like, nobody's really drawing other than the company. So for the company to be making all this money and keeping most of it for themselves, I guess
Most
if
of
they're
it?
the draw, I'm just saying, if they're the draw, then so be it. There are some of
Right.
these people that like they were put up in penthouse or not penthouses, but like studio apartments in fucking Florida, doing nothing, not even like showing up to wrestle more than once a week. Maybe
Nothing.
they're taking bumps a couple days a week, like to stay fresh.
Working out. They probably work out, and they probably that counts as their time. I worked out today. Oh, good. Thank you.
Making six
I-
figures a year down south.
I did want to bring this up, and I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me or not, but this is something I think that doesn't get said enough, and I don't think other people are saying it. And then we're going to move on from wrestling for the rest of the show. I think a lot of these wrestling pundits and podcasters who have been literally campaigning for WWE to fail and campaigning for WWE to tank out so that people in AEW will notice them and be nice to them and treat and say nice things about them on the internet and the fans not going after them, to then feign shock and outrage when a company that they've been publicly rooting against, publicly trying to impact negatively, and then to turn around and be like, "Oh my God! Like, what is Lindsay Dorado gonna do? What is he gonna do?" It's like, motherfucker, every day, every opportunity you get, you take to ruin the company they work for. It's a mixed message to me. You cannot have it both ways. You can't be somebody that has a wrestling podcast that thinks AEW is literally the greatest thing that ever happened and WWE sucks and it's a prison. And then when this prison lays people off, be like, "Oh my God, are you see Taya Valkyrie?" Oh my God. It's like, motherfucker, you literally spend every waking chance you get shitting on the company. Like what? Am I missing something? Shad, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree with you.
Do you think that's but you see what I'm like? If you have a wrestling podcast and all you do is talk about how great AEW is and give every match 7th stars, and then talk about how WWE is a prison, why are you then upset when people are let go from the company that you're openly rooting against?
Well, because that'll sell, controversy
Really?
sells. So yeah, I mean, with guys like Meltzer and stuff like that, when they flip out and they pretend to be angry, those are typically the times that they get hits on their podcast. So
Maybe.
Fake outrage, man. Fake outrage sells.
B-Show, do you understand my point?
100%, dude. It's like they need to go. They're terrible. Scandal. Rah rah. Rah. Like, how many of these people like are so happy with Dark Side of the Ring for exposing all this shit that WWE's had going on for years? But at the same time, it's like, how dare you let go Lindsay Dorado? He has a family. It's like,
Yeah. By the way, Lindsay, we like you. Your name just keeps coming up. We apologize.
it's just one of the more okay. If you're one of the more memorable, that's a good sign. So-
Lindsay, we just don't know half the other people. I mean, like, Jeet Singh or whatever, Jeet Sear. No,
Take it as
but
a
B-Show, like,
compliment.
yeah.
yeah, take it as a compliment. You're a talented guy. You're good at your job, so you're going to be fine. I just don't like the fact that these wrestling podcasters, so many of them, and I don't even need to say who they are because everybody knows who the fuck they are. So many of them have cultivated the demise of this company that they have deemed unpure and unclean. And then when they do things as a business does, which, by the way, they're just acting like a publicly traded company. When is AEW going to start laying people off? Like, you know what I mean? Like, wait till they start laying people off in a year or two.
When the video game doesn't sell the way they thought it would.
Yeah, maybe when the video game doesn't sell as well, or the video game has a lot of glitches in it, so people complain, and now they got to pull the game. I mean, oh my God! I see these people like, I can't believe Mia Yim, who should. And I'm like, dude, you've been rooting against the company that pays her to fail. You've been actively campaigning for that company to no longer exist. It's like I don't know. I
It
just it kills me.
it
It's so
reminds me kind
obvious.
of like the Dave Chappelle thing, where like these people who, not to say they're nothing, because obviously they've cultivated some kind of following, but the usual suspects will go out and they target WWE. Even Meltzer does it,
Yeah,
and it's like to
Alvarez, Meltzer.
yeah, to put themselves on the same level as WWE when Vince McMahon would be like, who the fuck are you, pal? Like, he doesn't even know who
Yeah,
the fuck they are. It doesn't exist in his world. So I think it's a
yeah.
way for a lot of them to try to maximize their status and put themselves in that same league by
I
just constantly
guess
bitching and attacking.
I
But
don't
like,
understand it.
but
I
it's
don't understand it.
stupid. It is so stupid.
Look, I'll put this in a different sense for people that might not understand what I'm trying to say, because maybe I'm being a little ambiguous here. I don't think I am, but I might be. I'm a Met fan. I'm a New York Mets fan. My goal for baseball is that the New York Mets do better than everybody else. Okay? In particular, I don't like the Yankees and I don't like the Dodgers. Okay? So if something bad happens to somebody on the Yankees or the Dodgers, or something bad happens in that organization, I go, "Yeah, awesome." Why? Because I'm a Mets fan and I don't give a fuck about your team. Just like I would expect you to feel the same way about my team. I'm not confused. I don't go, well, at the end of the day, I just love the industry. No, that's not me. That would be phony of me. I love baseball, but I love the Mets more than baseball. I don't want somebody to get hurt, but I'm not going to sit here and go wipe tears from my eyes if the opposing pitcher that's shitting on my team all year takes a fucking line drive to the face and now can't finish the season. I'm like, oh, that guy was killing us. Now, I'm not also not going to publicly say that that's great, but I'm not going to feign upsetness. I'm not going to feign, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like, oh, this is so terrible. I can't believe it. I hope Taya Valkyrie's okay. Like, it's like you rooted for the company that paid her to no longer have money to pay her anymore. I don't get it. It's a mixed message for me. If I just wish they would stop, just come out. All right, just come out. Just come out and just be like, look, we hate WWE now. We don't have to like them as much because this other company exists. So we're throwing all of our weight behind that company publicly and otherwise. And that's it. That's it. Just say it. Just fucking say it. Dude, let me tell you something. I haven't watched more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes of Raw or SmackDown since it was still really hot outside. The last 3 NXTs I deleted without even watching them. But I watch AEW, I watch Dynamite, I watch Rampage. I watch it because it's more engaging to me. I like it. I like the show. I hate the fans, but I like the show. I like a lot of the people in the company, but I hate a lot of the people in the company. I can't get through 10 minutes of that. It's very difficult for me to watch WWE programming. I think all three shows are very bad right now. I think they're all very, very, very bad. NXT is not good since the rebranding. I'm sorry. I don't like it at all. It did not help me get over the fact that I was struggling to watch this program. It just didn't. In fact, I think they made it worse. I don't like the
Yeah.
announcing team. I don't like the look. I don't like the theme song. Like I'm almost at the point where I could stop recording them. I record them out of habit. I don't watch them out of habit anymore. And I'm also not on a wrestling fucking podcast. But I'll watch Wednesday nights and I'm texting with my fucking brother-in-law every Wednesday night because there's a lot more interesting things going on there. But if you ask somebody on the street, if you ask somebody on wrestling podcasting, they'd be like, "Oh, that dude was on Soup. Those guys all hate AEW." Then why am I watching it? I don't hate watch nothing. I don't hate watch. I don't hate follow. If I hate you, I don't fucking pay attention to you. Do you think I watch the Yankees when the Mets are doing badly so I could dislike what's happening?
That's a
Fucking
great
ridiculous.
point, dude.
I mean, like this hate watch thing is fucking ridiculous to me. I'm sorry. It's a. I've never heard of that before. I've been watching the Mets since '72. Since at a crib, since I was one. I have never said, "Oh, let's put the Yankee game on so I could see if the Royals are really sticking it to them." It's childish. I just think these people in the industry, they picked a side. Most of them picked AEW. Very few of them picked WWE. And the ones that did are in such denial that they did it that they can't, like, it just, to me, it's making it worse. It's making it worse. That's why if Alvarez makes a post about ratings, 70% or 80% of people are telling him that he's paid for by AEW. or Meltzer or whoever. And by the way, some people I know do it. I'm not oblivious to the fact that there's people I know that I'm friends with that have decided that they are going to say positive things about AEW all the time, whether it's because it's profit or because it's less people sending them nasty things on the internet. I don't give a fuck about either one of them. I don't care because we are a fucking comedy podcast. We could have skipped this all night and it wouldn't really make a difference in our downloads. But because this is something that a lot of people that follow the show give a shit about, we gave it the lead story. And now we're moving on because we have other lead stories. And the other lead story I wanted to talk about with equal fervor is the election that happened Tuesday. Now, I'm going to break the fourth wall and let you know I actually worked the elections on Tuesday, B-Show. Were you aware of this?
Not until after you said something about it.
Well, I was pretty quiet about it. As an AARP member, I now am one of these old people that is working your local bingo hall for the elections. Now, B-Show, did you vote on Tuesday?
Can't say I did. I honestly, I've been so busy I didn't even pay attention and forgot.
Well, there were some pretty big elections in the state and city of New York. The city of New York voted in Eric Adams by an overwhelming majority, about like almost 70%, which is to no surprise to anybody, over Curtis Sliwa, the head founder of the Guardian Angels. Believe it or not, no one in New York City, B-Show, wanted a guy who wears a beret 24 hours a day to be their mayor and carries a cat. Who would have thought that the guy wearing a beret 24 hours a day for 40 years, people didn't take seriously at the polls on Super Tuesday?
Funny.
Yeah, so Eric Adams is the mayor. He's an interesting guy, former police officer, former Republican, carries a gun 24 hours a day. He's one of these vegan dudes who looks like he's in ill shape. He doesn't fuck around. I actually like Eric Adams. I didn't like him. I like him now. I'm pulling for him to do a good job. I love New York City so fucking much. And I'm rooting for him. I want him to do a good job. Let's see what he does. He seems like he's got some good ideas. Let's see what happens. I'm optimistic. I had a mayoral election in my town. My mayor won overwhelming. I didn't really know much about it. I actually met my mayor that day. I was talking with the mayor, and I didn't know it was the mayor at the time. But yeah, Eric Adams will be the new mayor of New York. He is not the first black mayor of New York. That would be David Dinkins was the first black mayor. He'll be the second African American to be voted in this position. But outside of a lot of local elections and some interesting things that happened in Buffalo and some other, I know a Brooklyn councilman who's in practically a runoff that I know personally that I don't want to talk about too much because I don't think it would be that interesting to people, and I'm actually really not that friendly with the guy. But he's in a runoff in Brooklyn, and but I did want to talk about what happened, B-Show, in Virginia. Now, this was a very, very closely watched gubernatorial race between was it Terry is it Terry McAuliffe, who was a Clinton Democrat, and he ran against a guy Youngskin. I always have a problem. Is it Youngkin? Youngkin, Glenn Youngkin. Now, I'm just going to tell you this point blank for those that weren't following this. This was a very important race because you had the Clinton Democrat millionaire, real estate, out of touch guy who was saying a lot of dumb shit that wasn't popular. Boy, the Democrats brought out everybody for Terry McAuliffe. They brought out Obama. They brought out fucking Kamala Harris. They brought out Joe Biden. They brought out everybody. And all of them did nothing to move the needle there, even though that was very much a blue state to begin with. And the people in the area felt that the platform put forward by Terry McAuliffe was not really reflective of what the people want. And honestly, that guy was around in the 90s with Clinton. And here's a funny thing, B-Show, you might not be aware of. Are you familiar with Glenn Youngkin?
I am not. I've been following this through Breaking Points and their coverage of this. So
he was tied into a major fund. He was I don't know what fund he was in, but it wasn't. I don't know. Can you look up Glenn Youngkin real quick?
Yeah, let me see.
Into like a huge fund. So he's another He's a billionaire.
Is he hedge fund manager?
Pull him up. I don't know the fund he was in, but I have an interesting footnote on the fund. I just know who else is in this fund. Okay, so
Jesus, 6'7". Wow.
Yeah, he's a big fucking dude. I don't know much about this guy. He seems like a douchebag. But the guy, can you back?
The
He's
a member of the Carlisle group. Holy
which
shit!
The Bushes were a part of. Now, here's a funny thing. Any other Democrat could have went after him for being part of the Carlyle Group, which was they had a bunch of funds. The Carlyle Group is a private equity firm. It was like a U.S. buyout team essentially, and he was a partner in that team, and he was the CEO, I think. Yeah, he was COO of that. And the Carlyle Group has a lot of shady dealings. Do you know who actually has money in one of those funds? His opponent. His opponent, Terry McAuliffe, because he's a real estate guy with a lot of money, they couldn't go after him for being a part of the Carlyle Group because he was a fucking part of it. And I think his wife also had money tied into it. So it just gives you an idea of what we're dealing with. We have millionaires fighting with billionaires, but this Virginia race was highly, highly, highly contentious. Obama basically came to Virginia and told everybody to don't expect anything. And then a lot of the left-leaning progressives were like, that was kind of a dumb thing for him to say. And then Kamala Harris came out, and the crowd didn't pop at all when she spoke.
It was silent.
It was dead silence. And it's like there was no heat behind this guy at all. And the Democrats just basically said, if you don't vote for Kavanaugh, if you don't vote for Terry McAuliffe, you're voting for white supremacy. Well, they voted for white supremacy, apparently, and they also voted in the first female lieutenant governor who happens to be a gun-toting African-American woman. So I don't know how that works, that they voted for white supremacy. This guy basically Youngkin ran on anti-CRT and anti-cancel culture type things because apparently that was something that was important to the Virginians. And obviously because he fucking won. I mean, the Democrats pumped a ton of money into this race. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I mean, when you got the biggest of the biggest going out there. Now, here's a funny thing. Glenn Youngkin separated himself from Trump, wanted nothing to do with Trump, nothing, because he knew Trump was poison. And he's now going to be the Republican governor of Virginia. Did you guys follow this story at all?
I did not. I've tuned out of politics, man, completely. Unless we talk about it, like I don't. I try to stay out of all this shit, man. This shit kills me.
Yeah, and again, I just was following this as an observer because the amount of muscle thrown behind Terry McAuliffe to lose, but also Terry McAuliffe also told parents they should have no say in what teachers teach their children. That was one of the. I mean, this guy made. Bisho, you familiar with the blunders of this guy?
Yeah, I mean, there was that. There's people that were. There are a lot of people didn't understand critical race theory, but that was kind of wrapped up.
And they still don't. And they still don't.
I know, but that was also wrapped up in it because that's one of the things that spurred like the whole. You have no. It's up to your teachers, not you, what we teach your kids, and people didn't like that. Yeah. Another interesting thing after watching the coverage of this is that he pretty much just ran on. He's a Republican, not this guy, the guy who lost. He's a Republican, so you vote Democrat.
Yeah, that's literally what they said. Yeah. Jimmy Dore said
issues. Even when Obama came out, didn't he pretty much like just say vote Democrat no matter what? Like that was his whole. It was all. Go ahead.
Obama said, I'm fairly certain Obama said, don't expect anything. I feel like Obama's speech. If you could pull up, like people were shocked. Like Obama's speech for Obama's speech in Virginia, it was kind of shocking. I mean, like the progressives that I follow just couldn't fucking believe it. I mean, they just couldn't believe some of the stuff Obama said.
Is this one for Terry?
Terry McAuliffe. Yeah,
McAuliffe.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of website this was, but let's just sorry. Hold on. I think Obama said something like don't expect anything. Yeah, don't expect anything.
It was the whole transcript. Oh, hang on.
Well, this I'm saying don't sit this one out. Oh, wait. Obama to Virginia voters, don't indulge. Well, here's the thing. I don't know. But, sharply criticizes Youngkin. All right. Don't indulge in your worst instincts, Obama. From his 200-acre compound in Martha's Vineyard. You can't run ads telling me you're a regular old hoops playing dishwashing police guy, but quietly cultivate support for those who tear down democracy. Yeah, so let me tell you something. So here's what was happening. The left-leaning progressives that support the Democratic Party are kind of done. They're going off the deep end here. In part because of the structure bill, because of the bill that got passed and everything that got taken out. Basically everything that was put in there by Bernie Sanders is gone. We're talking about no student debt forgiveness, no family leave, Oh my God, there's so many things they took out, but those are some of the big ones. Obviously, there's no minimum wage. There's no good. There was the climate stuff they took out. They took out a lot of shit. They took out a lot of shit. Um, and the progressives are pissed, man. Like the progressives are fucking pushing back, and they feel that this was sort of an indictment. And a lot of people lost Tuesday. I'll give you an example. There was a socialist that ran in Buffalo that was running unopposed. And the big thing that this woman was trying to do was she was pushing abolish the police. And then the mayor, the previous mayor, decided to run as a write-in, and he fucking won. He fucking won. He didn't even campaign. He just planted himself. That's like, and this woman was getting a lot of attention, and there was some pretty big people supporting her. I don't remember her name, but I know she was. But her big thing was abolish the police. And you know, you had the Democrats a year ago were very into abolishing the police, who were very big on rioting is fine during the pandemic, but working is not fine during the pandemic. A lot of these bad ideas, it seems like, have come back to haunt them in a very big way. The Times ran a story where they had a Democratic strategist that said Tuesday was a shellacking, it was a thumping. And there's a lot of stories like this of people that did not do very well at all. The New Jersey governor, Murphy, who was wildly unpopular due to COVID restrictions, won by like a few thousand votes. It was practically a recall. He won by what we call a cunt hair in the music business, a cunt hair. These are wildly unpopular things. And including the person that I know in Brooklyn who was running on things like abolish the police a year ago. He's losing to a guy who doesn't even live in the area, who has no political experience at all. And they're in a runoff. I mean, this is fucking pathetic. This is pathetic. The election in Virginia was very winnable for the Democrats. Very winnable. But they went with business as usual, and they failed miserably. And now we're a year away from the midterms, and everyone is predicting an epic disaster next fall, like an unprecedented disaster. I'm just curious because I felt like there was a lot of good ideas that came up from progressive candidates, but they all folded into the Democratic Party and abandoned these things. So it'll be curious to see what happens next year with the midterms. Had they lost Jersey too, which they barely held on to Jersey. Yeah, that would have been the two biggest races that they lost emphatically. But right off the bat, you had people on CNN and MSNBC saying that this was votes for white supremacy. I think you need a new shtick. I mean, honestly, I think they need a new shtick. It's not working. It's not resonating. I don't even agree with any of the platforms that these conservatives are coming up with, but the Democrats' ideas are wildly unpopular. I mean, you know, they've kind of gone back on every campaign promise, from immigration to climate to policing, to stuff on policing. They gave the Capitol Police. Did you know they just gave the Pentagon? They just gave the Pentagon an extra 10 billion that they didn't even ask for. Here's an interesting statistic for all you people out there. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I know the answer, so it's cheating. How much money do you think it would take to eliminate homelessness in America? Do you have like, if someone really put a gun to your head and said, hey, if you think we could get rid of, if the government said there's a figure that can eliminate the homeless population, which is increasing month to month in this country, month to month, how much money, Shaheen, do you think it would cost? If you had to even ballpark and guess it, I don't give a fuck. Give me a number.
For how long? Like,
Eliminate. I'm talking about eliminating.
Forever?
Eliminating. How much money do you think?
Couple trillion? I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
B-Show, eliminating homelessness in America. How much is it going to cost?
Yeah, I'd say it's not as simple as it sounds. So maybe $2 trillion, $3 trillion.
Okay. What if I told you that it's already been exhausted and they have a figure of what it would take to put every person in America in a home? How much? And what if I told you were both so off the mark? It would take $20 billion. $20 billion to eliminate, to take every person and family that is not in a home and put them in a home in this country. $20 billion. They just gave the Pentagon as a budget, $29 billion. $29 billion. That's, and this, I mean, it's a staggering thing to think about, because They only asked for 20, and they gave them 20. They gave them an extra 9, just just in case. In case they want to get some new shoes, just they want to get some winter clothes. Holidays are coming up. 20 billion. Everybody you see sleeping under a bridge in an affordable house. 20 billion. Sounds like a reachable goal, right? Sounds pretty reachable, don't you think?
Yeah, but realistically, it's never gonna happen, man. Nobody
Never
gives
gonna
a
happen.
shit.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. It's really sad. Like I didn't realize the number was that low.
Yeah, and it sounds weird because, like, okay, if let's take mentally ill and drug addicts, and
Right,
things
because
like that.
mentally ill does make up a large portion of that too.
So, like,
And drug addicts.
let's put them in homes. Like, who's taking care of the homes? How long is it housing them? Like,
But how much easier? How much did you know? And I told you this on the show. Did you know that something like 60% of the homelessness in Los Angeles County are working, have jobs?
I have heard that, and
It's
I do
factual,
know
not
someone.
bullshit.
I do know someone who's not poor or technically homeless by circumstance, but they live in a van out in California and they do like freelance tech work, and then they just kind of hang out and they just don't have to pay rent.
Right, and there's a segment of LA homelessness which is basically hipsters be like, yeah, man, I'm just hanging out. But I'm talking about, but there's also fucking families. There's literally
Right,
families. Skid Row now in LA, I think Bridget Fettis said is something like 69 blocks. Can you
Crazy.
imagine walking through 69 blocks of homeless people? 69 blocks. Okay, that's LA County. You know how much money is in LA County? Do you know how many millionaires and billionaires are in LA County? Do you know how many?
Yeah, that's why they're all leaving.
Well, they're leaving. Not all of them. Some of them are comfortable with it. I wouldn't be comfortable with living in a town with 69 blocks of homeless families.
No.
And they're families. I'm not just talking about some random drug addict who's like sticking his dick in electric sockets on the fucking side of the street.
Yeah, but
These
you'll
people
get
with
some
children.
of those mixed in, though. That's what I was
Yeah,
going away
you
from.
pepper them in. I mean, but it's like it's just crazy. Like I don't like this is huge because there's more and more people joining this because they got downsized or they lost their jobs to COVID. It's fucking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And Jimmy Dore was talking about this week. And I say this all the time. Trump lost because of COVID. Biden is losing because of COVID now. They are losing power and losing. Biden's approval rating is 40%. And I'm being generous with the 40. It was at 66%, I think, in the spring.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
low.
then, now it's pretty fucking low. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I don't have solutions, but I'm paying attention to the fucking problem. Because I'm one of these people that lost their job to COVID, that lost all their benefits. And any job I take right now, and I'm knocking on the door, I can tell you right now, statistically speaking, all the jobs that I'm applying for are roughly 20% less income-wise than the job I had. So I have to figure out a way to survive if I come back to work, which I'm anxiously trying to do. I don't sit around all day and watch fucking Netflix. I'm fucking trying to find jobs and trying to stay in shape and keep my fucking head straight. 20% less. And inflation probably makes that even worse, right? So, but you throw inflation in there, it's essentially I'm going back to work a job, start all over again at a 30% deficit. Somebody's got to answer for that shit. Somebody's got to answer for that shit. Somebody. But yeah, interesting. I'm not surprised with the results. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And it's a fascinating thing to pay. I recognize that it's not on everybody's radar. I understand that everybody's hung over from this shit, but pay attention because all of this affects your life. I mean, these are decisions. This infrastructure bill will have an impact on your life at some point or another, especially if you want to drive over a bridge sometime soon or jump off it.
Yeah, which is more appropriate nowadays.
More
Right?
apropos, don't you think? Speaking of jumping off a bridge, the big story tonight, really, other than the bus flip and the elections, is Shaheen's penis. A lot of people want to get an update on the single and ready to mingle Shaheen lifestyle. Shaheen, tell us where we're at now that we've sort of acquiesced into single man, ladies man, single man, penis entrepreneur, keeper of the semen. Tell everybody what's going on.
So,
Oh my God, that's amazing.
thank you.
Okay.
So, like, obviously, I'm in a different space now than I was a couple weeks ago. With time, everything kind of heals, and you kind of accept things for what they are, and you see people differently. You know what I mean? Like, I don't look at the relationship the same way I did 2 weeks ago. Don't really honestly have much hope in it. So I'm kind of just like, moving on. So long story short, I've been testing the waters, nothing major, just, talking to people and just kind of getting to know them, going on like, small little innocent dates and shit like that. And I made myself one promise was I'm not going to go back to exes or people that I've previously been with. And, I've gone on 5 dates and I made the mistake of 2 of them being from the past. One, I don't even know why I did it because she was too tall for me 10 years ago. And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I was thinking like she's going to shrink. Like she certainly didn't shrink. So if I wasn't into it 10 years ago, I'm not going to be into it right now.
I kind of blame myself for talking you into that because you were on the fence.
Yeah, it was a bad move. I instantly, like as soon as she came out, I was like, fuck this. Why am I doing this? The other person happened to, be somebody that I saw maybe 3 times 10 years ago.
Oof, that's a long time, dude.
Yeah, it was literally 10 years ago.
There's a lot of things that could happen to a body in 10 years.
No, I mean, that didn't change. It was a lot of other things that changed.
Cuckoo.
Yeah. So just to kind of put it in perspective, during the time when I saw her, I was single. So I was like dating like multiple people at the same time. Like I was heavy drinking. I was on a lot of shit. Like I don't remember a lot of the things I did from that era. I really don't. And that's like embarrassing. It honestly is embarrassing to say that
Why is it embarrassing?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because so I went on a few dates with her. She came over to my house 2 times. And I spoke to my friend Caleb, which I'm gonna record like a little solo show with him, and just we'll pop it up on the Patreon if people want to listen. He's got a bunch of crazy shit that we can go around and talk about. So I talked to him and I was like, hey, I'm gonna meet up with this girl. Do you remember her from back then? And he's like, yeah, I do remember her. And he told me that I had apparently sex with her. I don't remember this at all.
Wait, so someone else had to tell you about a person that you slept with?
Yes.
Wow.
Because
I gotta be honest with you. That's hot.
The only way, it's terrible, dude. It's a terrible look. The only
I love it. It's totally in my wheelhouse. That's totally me.
Was because I had really like long hair back then, and he was like, yeah, like me and my ex were at your house, and I totally remember because you came out and your hair was all fucked up, and like we knew you did something. So I started talking to her again on Instagram because she hit me up, and I guess she realized I was single from like based on my posts and stuff.
Hello.
So she was like, I don't know why we ever stopped talking and this, that, and the third. Because we got along great. Like personality wise, it was like amazing. Like, I found her attractive. There was no issues really. I think it was just at the time I was talking to other people and distance.
You were crossing vaginal streams. You just did.
Right. It just wasn't happening.
Crossing streams.
Yeah. So, she was like, obviously, like, I think that happened for a reason that we kind of just stopped communicating because we never had any issues. There was never anything. We just kind of just stopped talking. And she was like, I'm glad that happened because now that we're both mature, we can kind of pick up where we left off. And so for the last week, I've been talking to her and like, I was like, oh shit, this is great. Like I didn't expect to be in a relationship within like the first month. I was like, I'm actually kind of open for this because this is somebody I got along with. This is somebody that I was attracted to.
The sex was so good, you forgot it even.
I forgot about it. It's like I forgot about it.
Oh no!
By the way, I told her that I forgot. I was honest. I told her I forgot.
The balls of you doing that. Oh,
she appreciated it.
Your balls must not fit in your pants.
I knew we did other stuff. I just didn't remember the full, thing.
Occasionally, I'm not gonna lie. Occasionally, I've forgotten. Like if I see somebody online, I'm like,
I totally forgot, dude. I don't know what to say. I'm being honest. I totally forgot. It's not like I forgot that we did stuff. Like I just didn't think we had sex. So she told me, she was like, no, like we definitely did because I can tell you that your dog stole my panties and he was eating my panties. And I was like, fuck, I remember that now. I was like, yeah, this happened. I fucking remember this shit.
This sounds like an episode of Friends.
Yeah. And he tried to like lick her vagina. She reminded me of that. So she was like, yeah, it totally happened. Like I know your dog Millie very well, more than I'd like to know. Like
wow.
Definitely happened.
Even the dog got in there. Holy shit.
The dog,
how can you forget that?
Facts.
Even when the dog gets in there. I mean, once the dog gets in there, it's kind of like, is that cheating? Is that, I don't even know. Like I'd be like, are we in a thruple? Like what's going on?
Sharing over here? What are we doing?
Like, are we going to double team this broad? Okay. So what happened?
So we set up a date. So I was like, all right, let's go see Antlers. And then, we can get something to eat or whatever. And everything was fine. Like everything was normal. The last like week, like we've been talking like nonstop. Everything was cool. I was like, yo, like I'm going to probably end up in a relationship within like this day. Cause like if we pick up where we left off, like there was no issue. So it should be okay. So I show up to pick her up. I text her. I'm like, hey, I'm outside. And she doesn't respond for like 5 minutes. So I call her. I'm like, yo, like, you coming out? Gas is like $5 a gallon. You should probably come out.
That's what I would be thinking too.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? Come outside. So she says, ring the doorbell, which I'm like, I don't.
Now I got to get out.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that. I really don't want to do that.
Now, were you concerned when she asked if the dog was there also? Oh, just to say.
I did appreciate like a huge thing for me was the first thing she asked was, how's Millie? She was like, how's Millie? I missed the hell out of Millie. I was like,
that was the best oral she ever got in her life.
I was like, you know your way into
John
me.
on this one, yeah.
Yeah. Best oral ever.
No, she was terrified by that experience. So I finally ring
so
the
she
doorbell.
comes out with a pocket full of dog treats, and I'm like, whoa, like what, girl?
Like dog
Captain
shit.
Obvious. Holy shit! Where the fuck you getting that from?
So she opens the door. She's clearly not dressed to go out. Like I can tell she just got out the shower. Like she's like, like not fully there. And she's like, "Can I have a hug?" And I was like, "Sure."
Oh,
so she goes for a hug, and she just starts crying like hysterically.
That is so not hot,
bro. I'm talking like
I'm totally flaccid now, by the way.
Meltdown, like a straight up meltdown, right? So I'm thinking like Larry David at the time because I can feel her like snot through my shirt. I'm like, oh, dude, like it's been 10 years. Like this is the first 5 minutes. Like I really.
So just to remind everybody, this is someone that you had sex with. The dog ate her out. You were fine with her. She looked okay. You were going on a date to see antlers. She wanted to know if you had any bacon in the car. And then next thing you know, she's crying on you after 5 minutes and not seeing her after like 3 presidential elections.
Yes. So I asked her what's going on.
You are not having sex.
And
I'm saying right now.
I asked her what's going on, and she was like, "Well, I had a traumatizing moment today. My 91-year-old grandma fell, and she I don't know if she broke a vertebrae or spine or something happened with her." And she was like, "I feel responsible for it because I was holding her." So I was like, "Oh fuck! Like she's actually going through trauma. Like I don't know if her grandma."
That is sad for sure.
I don't know if she died today. Like I don't know what's going on. So I was like, all right, I'll just keep this hug going with the snot, and we'll just keep this gimmick going for a while.
This is something she probably should have told you before you came to the house, by the way.
Yes. By the way, yeah, absolutely should have.
Okay.
So, like, you know how, like, I have a rule with hugs, man. Like, after a minute, it's like, you know.
A minute?
Yeah, I mean, well, like a traumatizing.
That's a long-ass hug. Yeah, but like, still, even that's a long-ass hug.
We're talking about, like, a 15-minute fucking hug. Like, it's not going anywhere. And all of a sudden, I literally, like, start looking around. While she's telling me all the shit that's happening, I just find my head just like roaming around the room, and I'm just like, oh,
double parts.
Fuck, this is not her house. I'm like, there's family pictures. I'm like, fuck, I'm in her dad's house. Like, this is not what I was planning on doing today. This is not a good look. So I start hearing her mom in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, is somebody here? She's like, yeah, my mom's in the kitchen. She's making lasagna. I was like,
my erection is totally gone.
So can we like go though? Because like I don't want to be here right now. So then she starts getting real weird, and she starts like clawing my back, like
in the hug, in the
hug,
embrace.
like, and I'm like feeling like.
Is she making like the crying noises and stuff?
No, she's like hysterically crying, and then out of nowhere, like listen to this, bro. She starts like sniffing my neck and like says like it feels so good to hold a man again, and she starts like trying to like kiss me on my neck. I'm like, oh, dude, like you gotta like chill out. Like this is too much for me right now, man. I'm sorry. Like you're
with the whole family home.
Yes, her mom is in the fucking kitchen. Not the whole family. Her mom is in the kitchen. I can hear her mom.
She's like, and she's flirting with you while getting snot on you and crying about her 91-year-old grandma.
Granny's in a neck brace, laying on the floor, crying out next to you
on the defibrillator.
Bro, it gets so much worse. This is like some shit I wish I was making up.
Like, now, is it true that before the grandmother was passing away, one of her last wishes was she wanted to meet the dog? She wanted someone to bring the dog to the hospital.
Just wanted one last pleasure.
She just wanted one last lick before she goes to Terminal Dreamland.
So then she does a complete bipolar thing where she goes from crying to getting extremely horny. Now, and this is where I was like, oh, like this is getting fucking weird. Like I don't know if you're on some shit or like but this is not normal because you just went from crying about your grandma to now she's like literally going to my drawers, like grabbing my ass.
Finger bang.
Like, whoa, like what are you doing? I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like
fuck the pain away.
Yeah. So she wanted to introduce me to her mom, and I'm like, yo, I really
while she had her hand down your pants.
Yes, like I'm not even playing, bro.
The mom tried to shake your hand through your hand through the pants.
So she asked her mom, she's like, are you okay if he comes in? I'm like, chill. Like, I don't want to do that. What the fuck are you
This is
doing?
so awful.
It's
How old
so-
is this person?
She's 30. This is the most awkward shit ever, bro. Like, most awkward shit ever,
She ain't
bro.
really 30, but go ahead.
No, she's 30.
No, not up here.
No, I'm sorry, yeah, clearly. So then she asked me to take my jacket off, right? And I take my jacket off, and then she's like, take your sweatshirt off. I'm like, I don't want to. Why? And she's like, well, I need the body sensation. I need
my
skin to
God.
skin. I need to feel you. I'm like, yo, your mom is in the kitchen, bro. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She
This
needs
is
skin to skin
crazy.
like an infant. That's so crazy.
Bro, like these are quotes, like facts. This is as accurate as I can. I remember this shit like a movie. I'm like, yo, this is not real.
God.
Dude, it gets way worse. This is like
I don't think it can.
Shit.
I just don't think it can.
Bro, I'm telling you, it gets worse. Believe me.
I really don't think it can.
So then she asked me, she was like, because she asked me to help her paint one of the rooms. And she's like, hey, let me show you the room that I wanted you to paint. So we go in there. Immediately she goes for the belt buckle. I'm like, yo, like, listen, man, your mom is here. Like, I just got out of a fucking like.
She just painted the least sexual. Like you could not want sex less.
Yes, I'm like, yo, honestly, this is not the way to like turn me on, bro. Like,
this is the opposite of being turned on.
Yes, I'm like, this is not doing it for me at all. You know,
totally flaccid at this point. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like dying. It's
my penis went to the inside place 4 times during this story.
my balls are crawling inside my
4 times my penis went to the inside place.
So I had to escape the room, you know what I mean? And I'm like, at this point, I'm getting annoyed. Like, I'm visibly getting annoyed, and she's not picking up on it because I'm like, she keeps like going for my neck. I'm like, yo, like, chill, man. Like, stop. Like, stop. Like, stop. I don't know what other way I can tell you. Please stop.
Unbelievable.
So I try to leave, and then her mom finally comes out, and she's like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like,
you're the one with the dog?
Yeah, hello. So she's like, yeah, come on, sit down here. And then she has me sit down at the fucking table. Her mom is all the way across the table, and she decides to sit directly on me on my lap.
Now, just so we're on this, did you know the mom prior from 10 years ago?
Not at all, bro. Not at all. Okay. Her mom's like asking me, like, oh, you guys went to high school together? I'm like, no, I hit her up on Facebook 10 years ago. Like, facts. Like, that's what it is. I hit her up on Facebook, and we chilled a couple times, and here we are. Like, I don't know. So she starts sitting on me. And while I'm talking to her
mom,
like
you're a couple that's been together for so long,
right? Like I'm talking to her mom, and like her mom's getting to like know me and ask me all these questions, while her daughter is literally like slowly moaning and like breathing in my ear. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Now, mind you, her mom is like in her 70s, which I think she's adopted because her mom was more like a grandma. Like, I think she wasn't.
Or was her mom the grandma?
No. Her grandma's 91.
Was mom selling all this, or was she just like no selling it?
She's probably
she wasn't picking up on it, bro. Like, and I was sitting there, and I'll tell you when I started really like trying to get the mom's attention, like, yo, you gotta save me. Like, this is bad, dude. So while I'm sitting there, she's sitting on me. This is for the YouTube people, by the way. She's sitting on me like this, right? So she spreads her leg so she has access to my zipper while she's sitting on me. The table is raised so her mom can't see anything. She goes into my pants and starts like rubbing on. I'm like, yo, like, you gotta stop. I keep trying to like whisper. I'm like, yo, stop. So I'm looking at her mom, and I'm just like literally just like giving her mom like these looks, like, yo, like, come on, you gotta step in. Like, you can't tell me you don't see your daughter like practically licking on me in front. Like, this is fucking crazy. This can't be life. So eventually I get her off me, and I'm like, yo, I gotta go use the restroom. Where's your restroom? I finally get her off me, and then I tell her mom,
I would have climbed out the bathroom window.
Bro, I was trying to be nice. Like, I was like really, like, she was really testing my patience because I was getting like thoroughly. I'm like, yo, like, if I did this to a woman, this is rape. Like, I'm literally telling you,
she sexually assaulted you.
Stop touching me. Like, you're touching my ball sack in front of your mom, bro. Like, this is not comfortable for me. I didn't sign up. I just wanted to see a fucking movie. That's what I was telling my friend the whole night. That was the theme. I was like, I just want to see a fucking movie. That's all I wanted. I didn't want a hand job in the middle of the fucking living room. I wanted.
God only knows what this bitch would have done in the movie theater. Oh, bro, my fucking God.
And she told me, she was like, as soon as we leave, like, your car's going to be rocking anyway. So why not just do it here? I'm like, it's not though. I just want to see a fucking movie. That's what I signed up for. Nothing's going to be rocking. Like, the only thing I'm feeling is the recliners at the fucking movie theater. That's what I want to feel. I don't want to feel anything else. That was my plan. So I leave the house after she's like assaulted me multiple times. And I text her, I'm like, hey, I'm sitting in the car. If you want to go to this movie, like come out, I'm leaving in 5 minutes. If not, like I'm not doing this shit again.
Yeah.
So she pops her head out the window again and she's like, come here. So she's like, come inside. I'm like, no, I'm not coming inside.
I gave my mom Rufinol. We're fine.
I'm like, I was already inside. I don't want to come inside anymore. This is like really uncomfortable. This is becoming a nightmare for me. So she keeps going like this. And I'm like, fuck. Like I went back to the door and she's like, no, I didn't mean come inside. I meant come inside me. I was like, yo, like it's a wrap. I gotta go home. I have to go home. And I just straight up left. And like she, I think called me like 17 times at like 2 a.m. last night. Because I legit, like I called her back when I left because I told my friend Antonio about it. He was like, bro, you should check in on her to make sure she's like alive.
Yeah,
like,
she's gonna kill somebody.
Well, I checked on her and then she didn't respond back. She called me like 17 times at 2 a.m. So today I told her, I was like, yo, like, I don't know what happened yesterday, but like, that was not the person for the last week that I've been talking. I don't know what the fuck. And I thought she was drunk. I kept asking her, I'm like, yo, are you drunk? Because she couldn't finish certain sentences. Like she had a pumpkin display on her door. And she was like, you're not even thankful. And I was like, thankful for what? She was like, I put the pumpkins to make you feel loved and welcome. I was like, what?
Yo,
like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. None of this shit makes sense to me. You know, the pumpkins are here for you to be loved, and I wanted to make you feel comfortable. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? So
she's on something, man.
Long story short, she texted me today, and she was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry about that. You probably hate me. Like, this is the most embarrassing thing that's happened to me. I don't recall anything that happened yesterday. My mom kind of filled me in on some of the stuff, but like, you should tell me what happened." Because I took an Ambien yesterday by accident and I don't remember anything. Like I was completely zooted. She pulled a Roseanne. She was like, I don't remember a single fucking thing.
Did. This does sound like Roseanne behavior. I've never taken Ambien. Have you?
I don't know anything about it. I guess she's
Bisho, have you ever taken Ambien?
I have no idea.
No, I don't fuck with shit like that, dude.
And how do you accidentally take it? That's like going, I accidentally did cocaine.
Well, she said she was taking like an iron pill. I sent you guys a text message. She said she was taking the iron pill, and I guess she misplaced it with the whatever fuck. So I don't know. Point being, she took
that's a big step, yo.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. This was like a literal fucking movie to me, and I didn't know how to react, man. This was like hands down probably the most awkward shit.
Oh, I know how to react.
Please fill me in. How would you react in a situation?
I told you, run. I said, run, yo.
I was trying to. I felt like, yo.
I would have climbed out the bathroom window. I would have said, I just got a call from my mom. I have to go.
I did that to the cougar. Yo, I did that to the cougar. I texted my sister. I was like, yo, can you call me and tell me that you let one of the dogs out by accident and they got away so I can come home? And then she called me and had to fake it. And she was like, hey, Layla got out. You got to come home and catch her. And I was like, fuck, yo, I got to go to the crib.
I'm just trying. Okay. So I'm just trying.
I've been almost raped twice in like 6 weeks. And I don't think that's normal because I've been single before in my life. This shit doesn't happen usually.
This is violence.
I have a theory. I think this is because of the pandemic. I think this is post-pandemic.
It might be post-pandemic crazy pussy shit. Yeah, like I've been fucked in a while.
Like this girl was telling me, she was like, "Yeah, I haven't been with a man for almost like 2 years." She was like, "I got cheated on," and then
that's because the bitch is crazy. That's because she's crazy and she says crazy shit and does crazy and makes you not want to have sex with her.
And that was a huge red flag because like she looks the same. She's very cute. Like there's nothing attraction wise that I would go against. Her personality is great. She's funny, like good sense of humor. She'd probably laugh at half of the shit that we talk about. But she had no kids. She's a vet tech. I was like, yo, you got a lot of good things going on. Like, why the fuck are you single?
Honestly, look, Shaheen, I'm gonna come clean. Okay. No, I'm gonna come clean. I would have totally fucked her. I'm just being honest. I would have totally.
I know most people, but I couldn't, bro. There's no way.
I would have totally fucked. I would have. Crazy pussy is amazing. Like it really. Like if you could detach yourself from it, it's like an amazing thing. It's like holy God. Like this is unbelievable. Now detaching yourself from it is very difficult.
You can't do that. Dude.
It's like untethering yourself from that ball that chases Indiana Jones. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody thinks that looks like fun, but what if the ball just kept coming and you just couldn't get out of the way? It's like but crazy vagina is it's amazing.
Yeah, I know what this is though, man. She's like on birth control and shit. Like this is the type of woman that would like trap you and force you to like not let you. Like I already know where this is headed. I know where.
Oh yeah, you have to you have to fake your death. What I would have done, Shah, is I would have fucked her, made her go to the movies, done ill shit with her, and then I would have faked my own death.
Bro, she was on Ambien. She could barely like walk around. Like, I don't even know how her mom, like, maybe she's like part-time alcoholic, and this is no, again, I haven't seen it for 10 years. So like, I don't know what she's been doing. I'm like, yo, whatever you're doing though, this is like not.
I could only imagine like how insane that would have been. Like, I totally would have fucked her. I'm just being honest, I would have fucked her.
I mean, I'm sure.
I'm not saying me now today with my wife and shit.
Right,
I'm saying if I was in your shoes and I reconnected with somebody from 10 years earlier, I would have been like, this is detachable pussy for me. I have.
We could
no
trade
fucking...
places. It's funny because like I don't remember that time.
Dude, I could just show up. I could just show up as you, and people wouldn't really notice that much.
With a fake beard on.
No, I'm saying her and I could
just show up as
places,
Shaheen.
Man. Last time I don't remember having sex with her. This time she wouldn't remember having sex.
Maybe this was payback for not remembering. This was payback for the dog going down on her. What a wild story, honestly. I love it. This is the kind of shit I've been talking about for weeks.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's I know if this happened to a girl, like this is 100% traumatizing. Like for me, I can laugh at it the next day and be like, dude,
you would have been in jail.
Was that shit? Like I don't know what the fuck that was. But like
I get,
yeah, 100%, bro, 100%.
And rightfully so.
100%.
Rightfully so.
But yeah, I hope she's okay, man. I don't know. I hope she gets it together because that was a scary.
I hope she does too. I'm sure she's a lovely person.
She is.
I think
she's a sweetheart.
I think getting eaten out by a dog was her motivation to become a vet tech.
It was one lick. It was one lick. It was one lick.
That's
one lick.
Shaheen,
that's all it took.
One lick is that's all it takes. One lick.
God,
is all
you're
it
thinking
takes.
next level. I didn't even put it together that she's a vet tech, man.
Yeah, maybe that's
fucking shit,
I mean, like honestly, it's just like these jokes write themselves, man. These jokes
really motivated her career. Yeah, man.
It motivated outside of herself she didn't know existed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just like
she's like a wild animal in bed. That girl's like a wild animal in bed.
No, I'm sure she's like again. I don't remember from back then. I do remember she had a small vagina. I do remember that, but that's all I remember. She had a super small vagina.
You don't want the big vagina.
No, I mean like it was like even like the lips on like everything. It just looked small. It just
was like maybe because she was waiting for a dog to open that shit up. Like just be like rough, like she's waiting for a dog to fucking make that shit get all swollen.
Good God,
shit, because she was into it because she was waiting for the dog, yo.
Yeah, but this is like I even told you guys I was like I'm probably gonna end up in a relationship by tomorrow, bro. Like I'm telling you, I already get a good vibe from.
I know, I remember.
Person like we're good. Like,
I know.
I'm set.
It's a lot different when you're reading this though than hearing you and watching you tell the story. You can't. No,
but I'm saying I've been talking to her for like a week. Like there was no drunkenness, there was no Ambien. Like she was like straight. I was like, oh shit, like nothing's happened since then. Like you don't have kids. Like
so when is she moving in? When is she moving in? Is it this
that's another funny thing. She was jokingly saying like, yo, we got to go to Home Depot so I can get a spare key. I was like, yeah.
Oh, crazy vagina.
You know what? Yo, the one thing that really like gave me hope though was my ex.
My kids.
Hold on. This is before it happened.
Oh, okay.
This is before where I was like, oh damn, like this is a genuine person. Like this is a good thing that I should appreciate this. So my ex never cleaned up her daughter's room. So there was like a bunch of shit, like memories and stuff. And like I have a hard time to like clean that shit up. Like I thought it was pretty shitty to do that.
You're not made of wood.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well, I definitely wasn't made out of wood at her house.
Right.
But, like she knows about this, and she was like, hey, like. What I want to do for you is this weekend, I want to come over and I want to clean that room because you shouldn't touch that. And I was like, damn, that's like real fucking like nice of you. Like how generous of you. So that was like the thing where I was like, oh, like this might be wifey material. And then fast forward, we get there and within like 5 minutes, her hands are like in my pants next to her mom. I'm like, bruh, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
you might have dodged a big bullet there, honestly.
I've been dodging bullets left and right, dude. This is fucking.
But had that been a normal date, you might have got all caught in feelings, right? You might have got all swept up in feelings. You just said I might be in a relationship after this, right?
Yeah,
wifey material.
Yeah.
Wifey material. It sounded like you were on the road to.
Right, but that's because like. Again, when what she said to me made sense because she was like, hey, like we never had any issues. I don't even know why we stopped talking because she was like, I hit you up a couple of times. You just no-sold me and wouldn't respond to me. And I was like, honestly, I don't remember. I may have gotten into a relationship. I don't remember what happened back then, but all I know is like,
well, she was 20. She was very young.
Yeah, she was like 20, 21 at the time. I'm like, I don't remember what happened back then.
At that point, she had only had oral sex with guys. So it's like it's really like she wasn't really awakened sexually.
And dude, that was another thing that was like a selling point for me was that she's like bisexual. So I was like, yo, like
Totally would fuck.
And she's
Not
like,
even now. It's like
she's like freaky level to the next level where like if you were
You
with
think?
her, I guarantee you like birthdays, she'd probably be like, hey, I surprised you with
wow,
boom.
wow,
That type of
well,
shit. So I was like, this is different. Like this is a different
So
vibe.
when are you guys hanging out? Are you hanging out
Never.
tomorrow?
Oh, dude. Fuck,
You're going up to Brooklyn?
What, you're not
Fuck
hanging
outta
out? Like,
here.
what,
No.
You bringing her to Brooklyn this weekend?
No, son. Fuck out of here. No. And that was,
Dude,
that was the thing.
dude, my version of that story would have been like, so anyway, I made her blow me at Antlers.
Bro, I can't. Because
I
like
know.
what it's like, I don't know, man. My biggest turnoff is like sloppy chicks. Like when you're like sloppily drunk and like out of control, like I can't look at you the same. Yeah, like you. I can't get down with that shit, man. Like once I see that side of you, I'm just like, it's done. It's a wrap. So seeing that side of her immediately after, like it's the first thing after 10 years, it's a wrap, dude. It's done.
Yeah. Meanwhile, for me, my wife thought I was hot as hell doing that shit. You know, because like
different strokes.
Well, because it's a vulnerability that I don't necessarily have, right? Because I'm not like a dude like.
See, I also feel kind of like a dick because like there's only two people that I'm like genuinely, because like nowadays, dude, it's so easy to get like girls' numbers off social media with like it's like
I guess
it's like nothing. Well, I mean, yeah,
be sure don't know
tried.
either.
Or like
No,
versus like 10 years.
I will
ago,
not.
where,
I will
like,
not co-sign that.
No.
Well, I'm speaking for myself.
Kayfabe.
Like 10 years ago, it was different because 10 years ago, mostly I met people through like real life shit. You know what I mean? Because social media wasn't as big.
Oh
like,
yeah, I never. Yeah, I
haven't been single for a long time. So
10 years ago was kind of when I went back into relationships, and that was when I started to use social media for that purpose. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
Right.
oh, I didn't know. It's like, oh, I talked to this girl, then I know her in a weird way through bands. So like maybe I can hang out with her. Like I don't know that I would do that now necessarily. Honestly, when I have these fantasies of my wife, dying in a plane crash, one of the things I think about is,
God damn.
well, I mean, we don't fly anywhere, so it's just a dream. Who can afford flights these days? But but my wife is so pissed at me.
I bet.
No, you don't even want to know. Like, I'll share it. I don't give a shit. But because at this point, now that we've gotten that, we'll move into the Patreon. But
Well, we've been on Patreon for a little bit.
oh, they got to get that shot story. They got to get that story. We can't deprive the public of this thing. Oh no. The public needs to know. Motherfuckers need to know. So free portion got the extra shot shit.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, Shah, honestly, I don't want this to deter you from meeting other people. I don't.
Yeah, but dude, you gotta understand. I've gone on 5 dates.
This is unbelievable.
First one was a cougar that almost raped me. I felt
let's you know what, this will be on Patreon, this story. But
yeah,
let's
it's fine.
Tell people the cougar stuff.
All right, so I met a cougar off of Facebook. Well,
please, for
46.
all intents,
She's 46.
okay, just to put it in perspective, bitch is 4 years younger than me. But go ahead.
Yeah. And I showed you guys, like, she doesn't look 46. Like,
no, she didn't at all.
Pass for like 30 something. You know, I had no idea.
Let's limit the personal information for the cougars.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna like.
No, I know, but people are friends with you on Facebook could deduce who these people are, and I don't want that to happen. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'd be uncomfortable with that.
I see what you mean.
They didn't volunteer.
We don't want stalkers. Yeah, I don't.
No, they didn't volunteer. Like like you might not even think about, but I think about that because I'm like, well, they didn't volunteer this.
Well, the good thing is, I deleted most wrestling people from my Facebook, so I think there's only a handful of people.
All it takes is one motherfucker.
That's true, but point being is, so I met her, and then I went on a little date with her, and we went out to eat, and then she took me to her house. And she has a 12-year-old daughter, and her daughter was there. And I was like, fuck, this is already like not the vibe I was looking for. Because you shouldn't bring a random dude around your daughter at age 12.
Unbelievable.
Weird.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
But she's like filthy rich, got like a beautiful house. So I'm like, yo, this is different. I've never been around some shit like this. I might get a free trip out of this. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, this is dope. So we sit down, and then, we're watching some TV or whatever. And then she asked me, she's like, well, what are you into? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I like art. She's like, no, I mean like sexually, like what's your fetish? I was like, well, like the one thing that like turns me on that could be a huge turnoff is like ugly feet. So she immediately just like pops her feet like right on my jeans, like on my dick, and starts like moving around, like trying to massage. I'm like, oh, yo, like your daughter, like this is like, I don't know, man. I don't like when women are too aggressive. Like, shit turns me off. Like, I want to work for that. I don't want you to fucking like throw your pussy on my lap, man. I don't want that. It's not like attractive to me. So as soon as that happened, I texted my sister, and my mom knew my mom knew about this cougar, and she was very mad at me because she's like, yo, she's like almost my age. Like, what the fuck? Like, don't do
Okay,
that.
but Sha, she's not that much older than you. You know that, right? Like
She's
she's
12
12.
years older than me. Dude.
Motherfucker, she's 12. Okay, but
Yeah,
like,
but 12 in those years, dude, that's a big leap.
but you're 12 years away from being a cougar. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. But I told my sister, I was like, yo, so I did end up going there. And I was like, but I need you to save me because I need to get the fuck out of here. So that's where the dog came in, where she called me and she was like, hey, the dog got
it's
out.
always the dogs.
I
Yeah, the
know.
dogs helped me out a lot, bro.
The
They helped me
dogs
out
help
a
you
lot.
out. Dogs get you out of a lot of shit.
Yeah, the other one was tall as shit. Like she was like 6'3" or some shit. Like I was like, dude, I don't even know what to do with this.
And the sad thing was that would have been the most normal girl to wind up with, and you passed because she's tall, and then you go out with these crazy bitches.
Yeah, but she also has 3 kids though, dude. Like I already know that's not leading anywhere. She knows that. Like she's
That's too.
It's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap.
That's too many.
The only one. There's 2 that I've kind of been talking to. I haven't seen them, but like there's only 2 that I kind of have hope for, and the reason is because neither of them give me their fucking number. You know what I mean? They've been talking to me for weeks on Facebook, and they'll literally call me on Facebook, but they're like, yo, you don't deserve this yet. I'm like, yo, I want that shit. That's what the fuck I want. Cause like when you don't give it to me, I know not everyone's getting that. When you're too easy, I don't want that shit. But the one has a boyfriend, which I kind of feel like a dick about, but she's not happy. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. It's gonna happen.
Not your problem.
I even told her, I was like, yo, you should get out of that because I asked her today, I was like, yo, do you talk to me more or do you talk to him? And she's like, well, I live with him, but I mean, when I'm at work, I talk to you definitely more. And I was like, well, that's a problem. Like,
yeah, that relationship's doomed regardless.
Right. I'm like, yo, you're gonna end up cheating on this dude. Like, you might as well just call it a wrap now and just fucking like move on. Like, you're gonna end up cheating on this dude. Like, 100%.
100%. It sounds like you're going to
hell.
It sounds like you're not exactly fishing from a good stream.
No, yo, and my friend said this. He was like, yo, I'm gonna need you to like get off social media. He's like, you should not hit up any more females. He's like, yo, I'm telling you this as a friend. I've known you for fucking 20 years. This is the guy I'm gonna bring on the podcast one. Like, you have to hear some of these fucking stories. Yeah. He actually saved my life from drinking bleach. Like, this is a genuine loyal person.
Was this during like ivermectin phase, Shaheen? Like, what's going on? Did you run out of horse paste? What's happening?
Want the bleach story? It's quick.
How old is this? How old were you when you said this?
Oh, this is like, I was living in Norristown at the time, so I had to be like 24.
So they give you bleach just to get out of the pain of living there.
Yeah, I guess right around the same time I was dating this girl with the Ambien. Right. So this had to be the same time.
Her name is Ambien.
Ambien, yeah. So what happened with that was I was dating a girl and we broke up and she had a new boyfriend or whatever, but we had mutual friends. So she came over the house because, it was just friendly. And I told her, I was like, hey, I have a new girlfriend. She lives down the block. She wants to come over. Is it going to be a problem? Like, is there going to be an animosity between the two of you? And she was like, no. Like, I have a boyfriend. Like, I want to see how pretty she is. Like, bring her over. I'm curious to see her. So I was like, yo, are you sure? Because I've seen your crazy side. Like, I don't want to, create any kind of issues. So she said she was fine. So I go up to pick up my girl from the time. And my friend calls me. He's like, yo, whatever the fuck you do, don't come back to the crib. Do not come back to the house. You need to leave. Like, take her on a date or something. Tell her that the fucking, I don't know, tell her whatever happened. Tell her there's a flood. Don't come back to the house. You need to give me some time. So I ended up just like chilling with her on our porch for like hours. And she's like, why can't we go back to the house? Yeah, because he was like,
time, yo.
Maybe not hours, probably like an hour.
Okay.
But eventually when we got back, he told me, he was like, yo, she went fucking nuts as soon as you left. She tried to like shatter everything in your house. She broke a bunch of your DVDs.
Oh my God.
Like, she tried to set your fucking bed on fire. And he was like, yo, but the thing that I saw her do was she put bleach in your orange juice and put it back in the fridge. And she was like, and he was like, yo, like me and Knox,
that's hot.
We had to step in and we were like, yo, like this bitch is about to kill this man. Like, this is a fucking setup. So he was like, he obviously kicked her out of there. And that was a wrap. But yeah, this man like literally saved my fucking life.
Wow.
Like, I would have probably died that night.
I've had women hate me so much, but including like the ones I've been married to, but I've never had anyone try to murder me via vehicles of poison.
That's the only time though, luckily, I think, that I've almost got murdered.
Was she Puerto Rican?
She was half. She was half black, half Puerto Rican.
Oh, I dated a girl who's half black, half Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And she this is a good story actually. I was,
Puerto
or
Ricans are good, man. I like Puerto Ricans.
I
That's where
was
it's
in
at.
I had just gotten separated from my second wife,
Stack you up.
and I was hanging out at the bar really late, and this girl, not a great face, but everything else was fucking amazing. And I could tell like she kind of liked me, and I was chub, but I didn't give a fuck. I just started dating a long-term girlfriend at the time, but I don't know what was up with her. We weren't living together yet. Anyway, long story short, this is actually a great story. I just moved. I just got into this apartment and everything. The bed was new. I bought this like $1,000 bed on 1-800 mattress or some shit. Like it's the nicest bed in the universe, right? And anyway, so I pick her up, I take her back to my house, I fuck her, and then she keeps going on and on about how great the bed is. And she's like, "This is the greatest bed." I go, "Yeah, I just got this bed like 2 weeks ago." She was like, "I'm never leaving this bed." Now, like when somebody says, "I'm never leaving this bed,"
Yeah, they're
it's a
moving in.
metaphor. Yeah, it's like,
Right.
"Oh, I'm so comfortable."
Right. I feel at home.
She wasn't leaving, and I'm just like, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just like, "Yo, I'll." She lived in like Bushwick or some shit, or maybe in Cypress Hills, and I was like, "Yo, I'll pay for your cab or whatever." And she was
Right.
like, I'm just no." I texted my mother. I'm fine. Whatever. I'm like, I just wanted her out of my house so badly, like so fucking badly, right? And I thought like this was it, right? But then, like I established, we didn't really talk about it. We would just keep hooking up periodic. Now, mind you, I'm in a relationship with a really attractive, young, beautiful kid. But something was just in me. I don't know. I just couldn't make the connection, or whatever. So check it, right? This is like maybe a month later. The same bar that I picked her up in, my girlfriend now wants to go to, right? She wants to
Mm,
go to this bar. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, this probably shouldn't be happening, right? So
right.
we're walking towards the bar. This is the old Lucky 13 on 13th Street and in a Fifth Avenue. And we're walking to the bar, and I see her outside smoking a butt with this other girl, this really hot chick she was friends with. And I immediately start going, "Oh, my stomach. There's something wrong with my stomach. I can't. Oh my God, I just got this really bad pain." She's like, "You're right. You're right." We get literally to the corner. And then my girlfriend's like, "Do you need to go back home?" I go, "I really do, man. I think I'm going to be sick. I don't, it just fuck." She goes, "Oh, it happens sometimes." So I was like, "Whew." Now, mind you, who's texting me but the girl at Lucky 13? And I was like, "Oh, I dodged a bullet. I dodged a bullet. I dodged a bullet." Right. I think maybe 2 weeks later, my girlfriend's sleeping at my house. She doesn't feel like going out. I go to the bar, and she's like, I was like, "Listen, we can't go to my apartment." I swear to God, I did this. This is the shadiest shit on earth, yo. I said, "Yo, I'm pretty sure my ex-wife is out of town. I still got a key to her house, our old house." And I took her to my ex-wife's apartment.
Nice.
Bro,
I
what the
took her to my ex-wife's apartment.
And
I
you have
took her
no shame. God damn,
I
dude.
took her to my ex-wife's apartment. And I remember she had a tattoo on her back of two eyes, like, and I just remember feeling like this is low. Like this is low.
Oh my
This
God,
is
John.
low as it goes, right? And then maybe like I don't know what. This is probably months later. We just stopped talking, and that was it. I was somewhere where she was, and this biker dude was picking her up, and she looked at me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not doing nothing." Like, because I don't care at this point. And then she was just, so she left with the biker dude, who I'm totally convinced like was fucking her anyway. But I remember my ex-girlfriend found out that there was some connection between her and I, even though we had stopped, and this was months later, and went bananas. Now, a lot had transpired. Like my ex-girlfriend went to rehab and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, "Listen, this was in the beginning of the relationship. You were being weird. You were on drugs. I didn't know what was up. I would never do something like that ever again." And I never did in that relationship ever. But I remember she took a fucking knife to her throat in the bathroom because she was like, "I am so much fucking hotter than that girl. Like, what does that say about me? What does that say about me?" I was like, "It doesn't say shit. It says shit about me." I was just like, "Yo." Now, mind you, I'm like fat as fuck. Like, I'm older than all of these people by like 11 years. You know what I mean? I'm like 36 and they're like 23.
That's probably why, dude. That's probably why she went to kill herself.
But
She's
dude,
just fat fuck
but
doesn't
yo,
even want me. Like, what the fuck?
but yo, I had a lot
Look
of
at this piece of shit.
fools.
He doesn't even want me. What the fuck is going on here? I might as well just kill
Dude,
myself right
my
now.
ex-girlfriend was good looking.
That's why.
Good looking. And I was just like, listen to me. That was in the beginning. That was in the beginning. I didn't know. I go, as soon as everything else, as soon as we got serious, I never even talked to the person again. She was like, why are you friends with her on like MySpace or something? And we had a MySpace for the store. And I was like, I just wanted to keep track of her because I didn't want her kind of coming around again. And she was like, that girl's got a horse face. I go, yeah, she did, but she had huge, like unbelievably huge cans. And my ex-girlfriend was very thin. She had like she was like a size 0 and she had like small boobs or but she was smoking hot. And I was like, listen, I was like, I go, nothing could I go, think of all the things we've been through since then. And you think I would jeopardize it? And I was right. But I was like, I remember. And then I was like, and then, dude, you want to know what fucking happened? Oh no, I left out a crucial part of the story. So I took her to my ex-wife's house and fucked her and we both fell asleep there. And my ex-girlfriend was like, where are you? I was like, I went to walk the dogs from my ex-wife's house and I just fell asleep. And like, she knew, like I could tell like something's up.
Yeah, she could tell from the vibe, dude.
Yeah, you
You
could
feel
tell
that
from
shit
the
in the
vibe.
air, man. You can feel it.
You
Yeah.
can feel that shit in the air, you
Yeah.
know?
I don't
You
know,
can
man.
feel that shit in the air.
I kind of I was like debating because like I told you everything was fine before this whole Ambien shit. Like again, she looks fine, like her person, everything's great other than this fucking weird thing that happened. So to myself,
Pretty weird.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking weird though. So to myself, I was thinking, I'm like, fuck, I really need that room like cleaned up though, because I want to like,
Yeah.
I want to get that shit going.
You want to
So I
turn
was
it into a sex dungeon.
Nah, I want to turn it into like a peaceful room, like put like
Sex
fucking,
dungeon. Sex dungeon.
I don't know.
Dungeon for sex. You
So
could
I
just
was-
have
I
the
was
dog
thinking-
you could just have a set, like put the thing like where they tie them up and you put the dog on them. It'd be amazing.
How about like the ping pong table or the massage table with the hole in the bottom for the dog to come up?
Dude, you could just stick
Oh,
a biscuit.
dude.
Stick a biscuit in there. Just stick a biscuit in there.
Gross, man. Nah, but I was
Bacon,
debating.
bacon.
I was debating on just like seeing her one more time so she could help me clean the fucking room. But then I was like, I don't think I want her to know where I live. I don't think this is a bad idea because she seems like the type that would, take shit to the next level and kind of get obsessive. Because she told me, she was like, yo, like last time when you left 10 years ago, she was like, I was like borderline obsessed and I was really mad at you because you just disappeared and I couldn't understand why because like we had a good time. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to repeat that. That's like,
Shaq, can I ask you a question? Have you
Sure.
considered dating sites?
no.
Why not? You could cultivate somebody that you don't have any prior relationship.
I don't want to
with.
like pay. I don't want to pay for dating sites, dude.
But it's not really a lot of money.
Shit. Nah, I don't want to do that. No, Facebook is it for me, man. Facebook is kind of
Really?
The algorithm actually works really well on Facebook. Yeah, because like once beforehand, I would get like fucking like friend requests and suggestions just about like wrestling dudes, and I'm like, fuck this, dude. Like I don't want to be none of these motherfuckers. So now, like Facebook's picked up who I add and stuff, so they just suggest me like local
local
around.
vagina.
Yeah, like it's kind of sweet actually.
Right now, when are you
Like,
going to
just kinda-
Brooklyn?
I don't know. I was actually going to take this girl to Brooklyn next time, but I'm definitely not. It's
Yeah,
definitely
don't.
not happening. Yeah,
Don't.
definitely not, dude.
Don't you can't have her getting crazy out there.
I don't know. This weekend, my buddy he wants to take me out and kind of go on an adventure. So maybe next weekend. I don't know.
Wow. It sounds like everything that I said was going to happen is kind of happening. Isn't that weird?
It
Kind of is happening.
the thing is though, I straight up attract psychopaths. Like I have to break that cycle because that's like a thing.
But that's why I thought the
consistent in my
dating
life.
sites, because then you could literally cultivate. Go look. I want to meet a person with this, and this, and I only want to meet this, and then and they have to be this. And then they go, okay, here's this, and this, and then you talk a little bit to feel it out. And they go, okay, we'll just go get coffee or something, or maybe we'll meet in a park or something like that.
It sounds like old people shit though. I don't want.
It's not old people. It's safe.
Old people
It's
shit.
like but then you earn.
I don't want to be safe though. I like the adventure of.
But you want to be safe, but everything is so unsafe. Like it's so unsuccessfully unsafe. Like there's no upside to any of this.
You're
Yeah, I
batting
don't
like
know,
0
bro.
for 5 so far, bro.
Yeah, it's like basically like I'm suggesting switching your swing, and you still want to fucking swing. And
Yeah, but it's all my own fault though, because like the cougar.
No, none of this is your fault.
Well, listen, no, I'm saying if I was like a regular dude that was just like looking for sex, like this cougar, that would have been a hit. This girl would have been an easy hit. The tall girl, that would have been a hit. And
Three
then the
hits.
other,
I would have fucked all three of these people.
well, no, and then the other one, I was actually really genuinely interested in, and then it got fucked up because I got back with my ex for like a day, and I told her,
Fuck
and
them
she was
all.
like, blocked. She was like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!"
All of them. Fuck them. Just
I love John's appetite. It's like
10 minutes. But whatchamacallit?
Definitely not.
What a crazy show, crazy turn of events. This is why you're here. And we thank you guys for showing up. And don't forget to get your questions in next week for the Q&A. But thank you guys so much. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.